No, I haven't probably because do you recommend sit on the end? Okay. Because they're going to do the pledge, they're going to do all the stuff to start, and then I'm going to call them and apply the name. And she can do that. So you'll probably want to be on that, so you don't like climb over everybody. I'm going to shoot you the mayor. The mayor? Yeah, that's why that's actually. I didn't know it was going to be. I know. Yeah, big deal. Okay, yeah, so I'm sitting on you're supposed to. All right, okay. I realized
This meeting is called to order. I would like if you have your cell phones, can you either cut them off or mute it? And if you need to make a phone call, can you step out of the chamber room, please? And now we will have the invocation by Pastor Marcy Marco. It's a O. Marco Cavalier. Cavalier.
Caballero. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Uh, if you can stand up and let us pray. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we pray for our city that it may be a place of safety, peace, and opportunity for every person. Protect our streets and strengthen our community. Give wisdom to our mayor, city council, and officials. May they act with integrity, justice, and mercy, working for the good of all people. Bless the families, schools, and business here. Help us to foster unity and love for our neighbors, breaking down barriers of apathy or division. Bring hope to those struggling with poverty, brokenness, or fear. May the city be a refuge for the brokenhearted and a place of new beginning. We pray for the prosperity of our city, knowing that in its welfare we find our own. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Now we'll do the pledge of allegiance to the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the for stand one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion for the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I move to take the meeting minutes off of the consent agenda. Thank you. And actually, I don't believe it actually requires a motion since it's on the consent agenda.
Mayor, that's correct. If there's discussion on an item that is beyond the consent agenda, then it's appropriate to take it off.
We'll move to special presentations. Item A.
So, doing city attorney,
City Attorney.
do we not need an agenda to approve?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. So the motion to approve the agenda with this being moved to off the consent agenda.
Yeah.
So moved.
Before we move on to a second for that, Mr. Mayor, if I would like to further clarify. Regarding the April 20th commission meeting minutes, there's a motion that was made on my behalf. Sorry, not on my behalf, that I made. The issue that I have with it, that removed the intent of what the motion was. with how it was stated. So therefore, that piece of context was removed when I made my motion. And so that goes beyond summarization to editorialization. And so because these meeting minutes are official public documents, I have concern that if we were to approve it as it currently is, then we would therefore be approving what I would deem a false record. So if that item can go back to staff to actually be closer to what I said, then I would be fine with that. And we don't have to keep this item on the agenda. We can give it back to staff. They can handle that, and then we can get it at a later date, and we don't have to rehash this discussion. So I guess if it would be possible to have the motion amend to have that item on the consent agenda, item B, removed from the agenda entirely, and to direct the city manager to come back with those corrections. B, so under consent agenda, it is item B, approval of the April 20th, 2026 City Commission meeting minutes.
So your motion is not to simply move it off of the consent agenda. Your motion is to,
So, Mr. Mayor, City Attorney.
oops.
No worries. So what I'm saying here is that I already know where the direction I would like this item to go, which is to go back to staff to revise it. And so what I'm offering my fellow commissioners here is, instead of rehashing this conversation later in this meeting about this, we just handle that now. And we can do that by how we approve this agenda.
So the motion would be then to approve the agenda, if everyone believes that the agenda should be approved, and remove item B as in boy from the consent agenda for this meeting, subject to being brought back at a future meeting to properly record your motion. That's your motion, right?
That is correct, Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you.
Since you already had a motion on the floor, I just wanted the chair, Mr. Mayor, do you recognize that there was no second to that motion? I just needed that.
So if she accepts that as an amendment, then we're good to go.
Yes.
All right, then I'll second.
It's been moved to second, so we have public comments on the motion. If there be none, then we'll take a vote. We'll just use a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, so say we all. Now we'll move on to no, we'll right here. Yeah. We move on to special presentation A. Alachua.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, and City Attorney. I am Janet Knapp. I am the Assistant Deputy City Clerk. Art has always been about human expression. It offers connection and insight, emotion, and humanity. Tonight, we honor the third grade students of Alachua Elementary, whose artwork has been displayed here in City Hall foyer. Mayor Welch and art teacher Hannah Evans will make the presentations of the certificates to the students. So if you would both come forward, please. Read the names, and Mr. Mayor, if you would please. And here, I'll bend that way.
Which way you want me on this side?
Whatever's easier for you, because they'll come up and get their certificate.
Okay.
Okay, first we're going to honor Karan Dennis. Melvin Byron. He couldn't be here tonight, but we'll honor him. Rajan Dennis. Skylar Gordeballer. Safira Wooden. Jordan Stevens. Raylan Douglas. Mackenzie Stein. Joshua Combs. Henley Zimmerman. Kelly Paihalanga. Aiden Miller. Aaliyah Holly. True Lutton. And finally, Kaikoa McCord.
Before we get started, you want to make a motion? Approval reading of the.
Real quick, we need to make a motion for approved readings for proposed ordinances and resolutions by title only.
I'll second that.
It's been moved to second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have it. Now we'll move to item B. Home instruction, parents and preschool. I'm sorry.
Good job, alligators.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, and City Attorney. I'm David Weisner, Economic Development Manager for the City of Alachua. Happy May the 4th to those who celebrate. Strategic Initiative 2.4 of the city's fiscal year 2026 strategic plan aims to, quote, develop a collaborative strategy with the Alachua County School Board to improve performance of schools within the city, end quote. As part of this longstanding initiative, the city created the Education Task Force in FY23 to advise the City Commission on best practices for addressing ways to support improvements in education. One of staff's initial actions was to meet with then School Board of Alachua County Superintendent Shane Andrew to receive his recommendations. Superintendent Andrew suggested the most pressing, least addressed need in childhood education from his perspective was improving school readiness for children ages 0 to 5 in preparation for entering kindergarten. Subsequently, staff met with Dr. Herman Knopf, who is Senior Research Scientist for the University of Florida Anita Zucker Center for Excellence in Early Childhood Studies. Say that 3 times fast. Dr. Knopf provided his opinion that home visitation programs, such as home instruction for parents of preschool youngsters, HIPPY, offered by the SBAC, are very effective at improving both children's learning development and school readiness. Staff then met with SBAC HIPPY coordinator Stacy Williams to learn more details about HIPPY. Coordinator Williams shared that at that time, HIPPY served primarily Gainesville-based families, but could, if funded, provide service for some families in Alachua. In anticipation of the FY27 Strategic Plan Retreat to be held on May 12th, in which staff will present the City Commission with a handful of program options for its consideration regarding Strategic Initiative 2.4, Coordinator Williams is here tonight to provide a brief overview of what HIPPY is and how Alachua families could be included in its outreach.
Good evening. Oops. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. My name is Stacy Williams, and I'm the HIPPY Program Coordinator for the Alachua County Public Schools HIPPY Program. Also in the audience is Miss Nanette Dell, and Miss Nanette Dell is the Alachua County Public Schools Executive Director of Elementary Curriculum. Today, I'd like to briefly share how investing in parents through HIPPY leads to stronger school readiness outcomes and long-term benefits for the community. I bring over 20 years of experience in early childhood education, a master's in education, chair of the Thriving Parents Group, and leadership roles in Head Start. And for the past 6 years, I've had the honor of supporting the HIPPY program right here in Alachua County. So, why this matters? Before we get into HIPPY, I want to take a moment to ground us in why this work matters. Across Florida, approximately 57% of preschoolers enter kindergarten without foundational skills needed to succeed. And when that gap exists at the very beginning, it becomes harder and harder to close over time. At the same time, what we consistently see is that parents want to help. They deeply care about their children's success. They want to be involved, but many don't have the access to the tools, structures, or guidance to support learning in a way that builds these early skills consistency. And that's not a lack of effort, it's a lack of access, opportunity, and affordability. We also know that the early years matter more than any other age. The interactions happening at home before the child ever steps foot in a classroom are shaping language development, confidence, and how children engage with learning. So when we think about improving outcomes for children, we really have to start by asking how we are supporting families during that window. Because if we equip parents with the right tools and support early on, we're not just preparing a child for kindergarten, we're changing the trajectory for the child and their family. And that's exactly where HIPPY comes in. So building on that need, let's walk through what HIPPY is and how it works. HIPPY is a home visiting international home visiting program focused on preparing children for success in school. What makes HIPPY unique is that the parent is the center of the model.
Rather than working directly with the child alone, we focus on equipping the parent to take on the role as their child's first teacher. Families are paired with a trained home visitor who works with them on a weekly basis. Together, they go through structured, developmentally appropriate activities designed to build early learning skills. Those activities focus on things like language development, problem solving, math skills, and building routines that support learning at home. There's also a group meeting component where families come together, building relationships and learn from one another. This peer connection becomes a really important part of the experience. So last week we went to the Fire Station 1 downtown by Depot Park. And we had a really great turnout. And the parents learned about fire safety, how to set up safety in their home and a path and, a meeting spot for their family. The children got hats and felt like they were firefighters. And we all came together as a hippie family. So, at a high level, Hippie is about building parent confidence, strengthening the home learning environment, and making sure children are better prepared when they enter school. And when that model is implemented across the state, this is what it looks like at a scale. So, Hippie at a glance for the 24-25. As we look at the model across the state, this is what it looks like in practice. Last year, we reached 1,857 families, 2,117 children in 19 counties. So while the program is locally driven and many have different funding sources, Hippie collectively reaches families, communities throughout the state. But what's just as important as reach is what exactly is happening within those families. Over the course of the year, families are spending more than 40,000 hours engaged with their home visitor. They're completing 37,000 activities, and they're reading 240,000 books. That's consistent relationship building, and it's happening over time. They are and those numbers matter because they represent something bigger. They represent repetition, consistency, and intentional time between a parent and a child. That's where the growth happens. So when we think about Hippie, it's not just about access. It's about what families are doing week after week that builds skills and confidence over time. Because when we combine this level of engagement with the right support, that is where we start to see a real impact. Why Hippie matters. We see stronger relationship between parents and children. That attentional time builds trust, communication, and confidence on both sides. We also see growth in early literacy, language skills, math skills, social emotional, and importantly, we see improvements in kindergarten readiness scores. Children are showing up prepared, not just academically, but also with the ability to engage, follow routines, and manage themselves in a classroom environment. Families are also becoming more connected to their communities. Through Hippie, they're accessing resources, building networks, and becoming more engaged overall. And the most powerful outcome is what happens with parents. Over time, they begin to see themselves differently. They become confident, more engaged, proactive, and more engaged as partners in their child's education. And also seeing that it reflects in the data. Based on the program evaluation data, children who participate in Hippie are 2 times likely to pass the kindergarten readiness screener and 5 times likely to be promoted to the first grade. So when we talk about impact, it's both what we see every day with the families and what we can measure over time. The data tells an important story. It tells us the real impact and comes to life through families and communities every day. I'd like to briefly walk through how Hippie works and why consistency in assessments across programs is so important in our community. At the core, Hippie is our community home visitors. Each home visitor works closely with 25 families, building strong, trusting relationships over time. These relationships allows us to support early learning, but also connect with families, community resources, and when needs arise. Our model includes 60-minute home visits with each family, a structured curriculum of 30 learning packets per year. 6 group meetings annually where families build community and learn together. This structure ensures the learning is consistent, intentional, and directly supported in the home environment. To ensure children and families make meaningful progress, we use a combination of assessments. They are administered the first week and week 26 of completing the curriculum. The narrative language measure, which evaluates children's oral language development and storytelling skills. The Hippie skills test, which measures early literacy and school readiness skills. The parent questionnaire, which captures growth in parents' confidence and engagement. And lastly, the parent rating inventory executive functioning, which looks at attention, self-regulation, and executive functioning. All the data is captured through REDCap, which is a secure web-based data collection and management system used to build surveys, collect data, and to track outcomes. Currently, our program is funding through the Division of Early Learning (DEL), and our money comes from the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families (TANF), similar to where families also have Medicaid. And then the grant type is a cost reimbursement grant, and we have a subcontract between the University of South Florida and the Alachua County Public Schools. This year, we're serving 109 of their families, providing direct support that strengthens school readiness, language development, and parent engagement. The cost per child is $2,468.30, with a total subcontracted amount of $309,700. While the funding allows us to operate, it does not fully meet the growing needs in our community, especially here in the city of Alachua. Local data shows only about half of the children enter kindergarten are ready. In the city of Alachua, we know there's hundreds of children under the age of 5 with limited access to early learning opportunity. Today, we are seeking the City of Alachua's support as a potential funding partner through the local grant investment. Your support will allow us to expand services to more families within the City of Alachua, increase kindergarten readiness scores, strengthen family stability, and educational success. An investment in Hippie is an investment in school readiness, family empowerment, and the future of our community. In the city of Alachua, there are 994 children under 5, but only 10.7% attend preschool. This leaves a significant amount of children not accessing early learning programs, creating a gap that Hippie is uniquely designed to fill by bringing education directly to the home. The proposal outlines the City of Alachua's program budget for the 26-27 program running from July 1st to June 30th, 26-27 in Alachua County. The budget is for 1 full-time home visitor, including base salary, insurance, and approximately with pending raises that possibly could change sometimes. A home visitor requiring licensing and U.S. program oversight, which is covered by Alachua County Public Schools in the amount of $4,427.50. Travel is reimbursing our home visitors for traveling to the homes for $2,400. Hippie curriculum and program materials at $13,522. In technology for data collection, having a tablet is $600. And then a memorandum of understanding, an MOU. If a partnership is established, an MOU will be developed between the Alachua County Public Schools and the City of Alachua to define roles, responsibilities, funding, and accountability. And the total direct cost is $60,135.20 with an administrative cost of $1,503, totaling $61,638. I'd like to share a brief video that brings Hippie to life. You will see how the program across the state and how our curriculum is intentionally designed for parents. Is there a way to press play on here for the... She might have to do it on her end. The link is not working.
Mr. Mayor, we're having difficulties with
We're having with
video
the link.
play button. So if the presenter could
It'll
continue.
usually pull up on YouTube. Not working.
Leanne, she said to try maybe YouTube.
It usually would pull up. A link was embedded to pull up on YouTube. Okay. Thank you. Okay. That's fine. Can I email you? Can I email you the video? Is that possible? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. So looking ahead, as we think about what's next, our focus is to strengthen and scaling that impact in Alachua first. And it's about expanding access. There still are many families who could benefit from HIPPY, and as we continue growing in a way that reaches more communities across the state, such as Alice families, who currently do not qualify for the program. At the same time, growth only works if quality stays strong. Such a big part of our focus is supporting home visitors with the training and coaching. We're also working better to align HIPPY with statewide priorities around early literacy, school readiness, and family engagement. This includes strengthening connections with schools, community organizations, and other early childhood connections with schools. And one area we're especially excited about is workforce development. Many of our parents become home visitors. They're the first people that we interview to become a home visitor. So we have 2 parents that are one of our home visitors because they're from the community. They can connect with our families and they know the curriculum. And unfortunately, the video showed it all. So as we look ahead, it's not just about growing the program, it's about building a stronger system around families and creating opportunities that extend behind the program itself. And thank you for your time. Do you have any questions?
I do. I have a couple. Well, first,
Okay.
I think absolutely agree. That early education is what I love. The brain is developed 80% by 5. So the more touches we can get with these children is absolutely crucial. One of the questions I would love to see the curriculum that you guys are using
Yes,
for
ma'am.
sure. I think
Okay.
I'd like to just see one of the questions in the home base when they visit the home. Do they do dialogic reading, or you mentioned
They
some of
do.
the other activities? So
That's
do they
part of
read to
it.
them? Because 20 minutes a day is probably the most important
Yes.
during that time. So that's part
Yes.
of their daily routine in that.
And we teach the parents how to do that.
Okay.
So the home visitor actually reads the book to the parent and
Alright.
teaches them how to
Teach
do
how
that.
to, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, for me, Mayor, and I think, the biggest part is getting the parent is probably one of the hardest things in some, and Dr. Knopf is fantastic. I've known him
He
for
is.
20. He's absolutely brilliant and gives us
Yes.
amazing things, and anything he says is like, he's got it. I mean, we have a couple of
Mhm.
research schools as far as, that I'm aware of that we use too, but
Mhm.
I've never, the home part I think is really fantastic. Part of the program, so I definitely like that. And the other question I have, that which maybe nothing you can answer, but learning with us being part of an active with the school board, I learned that the Head Start program, for example, like at Irby, has 12 classrooms for their Head Start and their VPK. But I learned that some of those students, majority of those students, over 60% of those students, don't end up attending Irby or Alachua. So that's one of the things in our strategic meeting I'd like to
Mhm.
definitely bring up and make sure those students are from our city first,
Yes.
somehow coming up with something that says you have to be in the city limits, so they get the first opportunity to attend
Yes.
Irby and their Head Start program, because I know 2 years ago it was way up there. I think only 5 of those students that graduated from VPK from Irby Elementary School actually stayed and went to the kindergarten program. And for us, I think it's really crucial that we get, if you're saying almost 1,000 students here, we need to get those students here in both of these programs, in this program and into our Head Start and Irby, because it is crucial for
Yeah,
reading.
according to the census, there was 994 preschoolers 0 to 5 that reside in the city of Alachua alone, and only 10% of them are utilizing childcare at all.
I believe.
With
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On that 10% number, what did you see when this program is applied elsewhere, when they're looking at, under that under 5? What adoption rate do you see this program having with those when it's applied to those other communities?
So Dr. Tracy Payne is our principal investigator, and she does all the data at USF. So what they see with the data is that children are 5 times likely more to graduate. She looks at data kindergarten, 3rd grade, and now 9th grade. So she sees how they do on, of course, the FAST, the STAR assessment. And then she also looks at retention rates and family engagement.
Mhm. I guess my question is more along the lines of, if we already know we have a lacking adoption of pre-K with our current children in our community, my question is, if we implement this program, or historically when this program has been implemented, what type of adoption are we seeing that those people who are hesitant with those pre-K programs, that they're going into this program?
So with this program, it's a home-based program. So we're getting them. The model is centered around the parent. So we don't meet with the video. I wish we try to pull up the video, or no. The video really shows it. So the model is the parent. So the parents educating their child in the home, and and then that prepares the child when they get to kindergarten. So
Okay.
if we're serving the city of Alachua children and they're going to go into your kindergarten, at least we know we're doing something in the home and getting them prepared. What are they doing if they're not going to preschool? So Hippie is preparing them in the home. The curriculum is wonderful. It's written a 3rd grade level for the parent. There's lots of vocabulary words from the parent, one-to-one correspondence, spatial perception. Vocabulary words that a parent may not understand. We teach the parent to partner with the teacher. We actually role play the curriculum with the parent. They pretend to their child, and we pretend that they're the parent. So they understand how to use the curriculum. We teach them when they go to a parent conference. What does that look like when you go to a parent conference? What questions might you want to ask at a parent conference? So we really get them prepared. What does it look like when you look at your child's FAST scores? They don't sometimes understand that. It's more personalized. You're directly with the parent. The home visitors they become family. The home visitors are with them sometimes from little learners are age 2 to the end of kindergarten, because they can stay into the end of 6. So it really develops that relationship. We provide referrals. If a child needs speech, if a child possibly has some kind of diagnosis, they're going to tell the home visitor before they tell anyone else. And we're going to help them get referred and help them through that process of fiddlers. And sometimes children will come into kindergarten and they haven't been referred yet. So to start at the age of 3, because I think the IEP starts at 3, is huge. I think I answered your question.
I think I'd love to talk with you more in
Yeah, I
detail
would
about
love
this
that too.
and with the staff. So, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner, you must.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
great. I absolutely love the program. Just in disclosure, I ended up getting my daughter and I homeschooled her. I started homeschooling her. Then I ended up putting her in virtual school because I needed that extra support myself and being able to connect with the teacher and also doing activities with other families and other students in the same program really helped to really create that village mentality type deal.
Mhm.
And I think it's not just great for the students, but also for the parents as well, because they're actually meeting other parents. We're meeting other adults. They're getting answers to questions that they may not know, because sometimes people just simply don't know what you don't know.
Mhm.
But having that extra person that can actually help answer those questions and help them understand certain behaviors also with that may be the child going through, and being able to identify those type things. And I don't know if you guys do anything with the medical professionals
We
also
do.
in doing that, because that's a crucial piece with cognitive diagnosis and
Mhm.
different things like that, to be able to diagnose an ADHD or any other type thing that may happen. So I absolutely love the program. But also, I had a question. Now, how are the kids selected?
So through our current eligibility, we have to serve children that are under the 200% poverty levels because we get our money from the same money as Medicaid, so TANF dollars.
Gotcha.
Where other funders throughout the state, if you have another funder, there would be no income eligibility. So anyone can join HIPPY. You don't have to meet that criteria.
Okay. And is this like
So
a nonprofit organization, or if it's it through the Department of
it's
Education?
the Division of Early Learning.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yes, I got.
So
Sorry.
we go to churches, we go door to door, we go to Walmart, we go to Publix, we go everywhere we can. We go into the housing communities. Our home visitors go everywhere. And I can't stress this enough, two of our home visitors were already in HIPPY. And that really makes a difference because they can connect with the families.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I guess we all a little bit more. Leanne, a little louder. Thanks. We know that parents are children's first teachers. In the presentation, for some reason, I had difficulty reading the numbers. Did you? So, in addition to the video, could you provide the presentation?
Yes,
Thanks.
absolutely.
One went out of the other question went out of my head, but it'll probably come to me as for assessments. You said the children do get assessed at the beginning of the school year.
And week 26 of the
Is that
curriculum.
which program are they using for that?
We're using the narrative language measurement, which it's a standardized assessment that assess their oral language and their storytelling.
Okay.
Because children usually that come from lower income homes, their vocabulary and their storytelling is low. So we try to look at that when they first start, and then see how HIPPY's doing by week 26. And we do a pre and a post every year.
Okay, perfect. And then for obviously oral languages, I mean, they got to hear as many words as they
They
possibly
do.
can all day long. So
Yes.
that's, something I think also with the preschools and there's definitely openings in our community for kids to get in at all of the preschools here. I'm almost positive of that. One of the things I do know from the past, now I don't know from years ago when I would meet with families, the biggest with the city of Alachua was for the younger was transportation to the schools is one of the things also that I think we might need to look at as well. I know you're going to the schools, but I'm also thinking, further down the road, helping them get them to programs.
Yes, and we have the same issue when it comes to having our group meetings. We tried with the city of Gainesville to get bus passes for the families that do not have transportation, but that's been limited lately. So that's been a little bit of a struggle.
I appreciate it.
And thank you.
Thank
Like I
you.
told you earlier, when y'all first started, I think 2008, somewhere around there.
2002.
Two.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And I heard you say that you had interact with churches. Our church, under the leadership of late Dr. Detroit Williams, he had got us involved with the hippie program, and it was going great. And the educational staff that we had working with you guys. So
I love to hear that.
yes, and I encourage some more churches, to get involved, because I love that program.
It's a great program.
Yes, it
It
is.
works.
Yes, it
It
does.
works. We have to reach our parents.
Yes.
Our parents, we have to reach them better. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we'll move to item C.
Every Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney. Tonight, we're proud to share a moment that reflects excellence behind the scenes here in the city of Alachua. This short video highlights our team's recent recognition for best tasting drinking water in the region. How awesome! If you would, please mute your mics and turn your attention to the screens. Every drop tells a story. Behind the scenes, it takes precision, discipline, and a team committed to getting it right every single day.
Behind the scenes, we strive to put out the best drinking water possible. Each day we document, write down all the parameters, along with all the state regulations. We don't cut corners in our day-to-day duties.
Excellence isn't claimed overnight, it's pursued, refined, and earned. And this year, that commitment reached a new level.
It's been 18 years since the city of Alachua has won the Drinking Water Award, and I just really wanted to bring it home for the community. And most of all, beat GRU. It was just a fun competition this year. We walked out with our heads high, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
This isn't just an award, it's a promise to our residents, to our families, to you.
City of Alachua, I live here. I drink this water. It's the highest quality in this area. I mean, we have the trophy to show for it now, so nobody can tell you anything different.
Thank you. I was so excited. I forgot to tell you all my name. My name is Kenyatta Curtis. I'm the public information officer for the city of Alachua. And in, around, and through his already rigorous schedule, our city manager supports us and wants us to be our best selves. So you heard a familiar voice, right? Now you can see a familiar face. I have with me Nate Ford on tonight. For any additional comments or questions.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney. My name is Nate Ford. I am a water plant operator for the City of Alachua. I'm proud to present this Best Tasting Drinking Water Award and People's Choice Award to the City of Alachua. This success highlights the dedication we bring to providing the highest quality water to our city. I would like to thank you for the supportive leadership, which has helped us bring this city award to the city. Thank you. So, Mr. Mayor, one thing to add: the big trophy that we were supposed to get, it's being engraved right now, so we don't have that for the picture. But we do have the People's Choice Award here. So during this competition, they're judging as the people in the actual attendance. They're judging, and there's a panel that's judging as well. We took home both trophies. So yeah, yeah. And if there's
Picture,
any questions,
please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, as you guys gather for the photo, these awards don't happen by chance.
no,
It's dedication and hard work. And Nate's representing the water department. Thank you for bringing home the trophy for the city of Alachua. Thank you for all that you
thank
do.
you.
And I, excuse me, and I just want to add, the Oscar goes to Mr. Nate Ford.
Thank you, thank you.
Good. Guys look awesome. Big smiles on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you all so much.
Right, we're going to move on to item D.
Good evening once again, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. City Manager, Mr. City Attorney. I'm David Weisner, Economic Development Manager for the city. The city of Alachua is proud to celebrate 2026 Economic Development Week, go figure, a global initiative led by the International Economic Development Council, IEDC. This year's theme, 100 Years of Impact, recognizes IEDC's centennial anniversary and 100 years of leadership in economic development. Economic Development Week presents an opportunity to examine the evolution of economic development, celebrate our successes today, and lay groundwork for the next era of prosperity for our community. Achievements to celebrate in Alachua include the progress made in the community compared to the rest of the state and nation regarding cost of living. While much of the country suffers from a housing shortage that has driven up the cost of both home ownership and rent, homeowner and rental vacancy in Alachua is much higher than the state and national averages, resulting in lower average house and rent costs. Alachua's average house value is $285,700 compared to Florida's $325,000 and the U.S.'s $303,400. Overall, the cost of living in Alachua is 12.5% lower than the Florida average and 10.2% lower than the U.S. average. This is coupled with the progress that has been made in both employment and wage growth. While job and wage growth have been comparatively low at the state and national level, and in fact so far in 26 at the state level, it has shrank. This past year, employment grew by 1.9% in Alachua compared to 0.3% in Florida and 0.5% nationally. And wages grew by 6.1% in Alachua compared to 4.7% in Florida and 4.1% in the U.S. These statistics are worth celebrating because a prime indicator of a community's quality of life is its cost of living and the availability of high-paying jobs for people of all education levels. And they come as a result of the City Commission's emphasis on managed growth in housing and job creation. The recommended action is for the City Attorney to read the proclamation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll read this. It's the 2026 Economic Development Week proclamation, whereas more than 100,000 economic development and related professionals worldwide are committed to creating, retaining, and expanding top-tier opportunities that foster long-term equitable community growth. Whereas for generations, the economic development profession has cultivated thriving neighborhoods, championed sustainability and resiliency, strengthened economic prosperity, enhanced quality of life, and built a robust tax base. Whereas economic development professionals operate across diverse environments, including rural, suburban, and urban communities, local, state, provincial, and national governments, public-private partnerships, chambers of commerce, institutions of higher learning and education, and similar organizations and associations. Whereas economic development professionals serve as stewards of progress, connecting residents, business leaders, elected officials, industry executives, and educational institutions to advance job creation, community investment, infrastructure improvements, and long-term opportunity. Whereas economic developers contribute to the continued strength and vitality of the city of Alachua, building on past achievements while shaping a resilient and prosperous future. Whereas since 1926, the International Economic Development Council and its preceding organizations have advanced the profession globally, marking 100 years of leadership dedicated to fostering growth, innovation, inclusion, sustainability, and resilience in communities of all sizes. Now, therefore, our mayor, Walter Welch, as the mayor of the city of Alachua, Florida, by virtue of the authority vested in our mayor, hereby proclaims May 4th to May 8th, 2026 as Economic Development Week in the city of Alachua to celebrate 100 years of impact, reflecting on the progress achieved, honoring the professionals who strengthen our communities today, and inspiring the next century of economic opportunity and growth. Attested by our mayor, Walter Welch, and the appropriate motion is to pass the proclamation as read by its entirety.
So we'll move to, let me see, item.
Mr. Mayor, just to point out, I guess I have some questions for Mr. Weisner on this. When we calculated the average home value of 285,000, we didn't use the median house range in our city. Is that correct?
I don't recall off the top of my head. That was provided in the annual report I submitted a couple months ago.
Okay, because the median house price is about 33 to 360,000 for our area, which that has to do with newer construction builds coming by. So when we look at like what our open market is available, it's what we're not seeing is that 285, which to the average resident would be more, I guess, was appealing for their budgets. And so instead, what's actually being experienced out there is to about 330 to 365. So just for the public to understand the like what you're seeing and what we're saying, like why there's a little difference in that. And then also talking about inflation, we were over 3.3% in terms of inflation since 2025. And so when we look at a 6.1 increase, are we looking at like the average wages increase to keep up with it from these businesses? But either way, I think we did a good job on that, and same with job growth. It's just when we talk about housing and we talk about how it's been strategic, when we look at what we're actually providing out on the market, doesn't reflect the averages, right? Because the people who have their homes right now that are in line with that 285, they're not selling because they don't have a market they can move to or want to. And so when the new people that come into our area, they're going for those 330s, those 360s, or those people who are renting in our community don't have the option to move out of renting. So I just want to be clear on that discrepancy between the numbers and what we're actually facing in the markets.
For point of clarification, the statistics came from Career Source of North Central Florida, just FYI.
That's fine. I'm talking about the difference between when we're dealing with stats, the difference between averages and dealing in housing markets and medians when dealing with housing markets. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. We'll move to item E.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commission. I'm Tara Malone, Human Resources Director. I apologize. You're going to have me for the next 3 items, but they should be fairly quick. So real quick, our first one is Stop the Bleed Day 2026. Stop the Bleed is a national public health campaign aimed at saving lives through training on how to stop traumatic bleeding. It's observed each year on the Thursday of Emergency Medical Services, or EMS Week. This year, Stop the Bleed Day will be observed on May 21st, 2026. Real quick, I just wanted to touch on some training opportunities that we have coming up. Oh, he's hiding, but Wes Barrett, our safety specialist, if you'd raise your hand, please, Wes. He brought this to the table a few years ago and took it upon himself. There's actually a Stop the Bleed training that you have to go through and certification process, and he did that. And then we implemented on a biannual basis training in coordination with our police department for active assailant and trauma training. It actually starts this week. We're going to have 3 sessions this week for employees and 3 next. Not one of those things that we like to have to visit, but it's better to have that knowledge and hopefully the skill set to apply if need be. So recommended action this evening is for the city to read the proclamation declaring May 21st, 2026 as Stop the Bleed Day. Thank you.
Whereas Stop the Bleed is a national public health campaign launched at the White House ceremony in 2015. Whereas its goal is to save lives by training people across the country on how to stop traumatic bleeding. Whereas excessive bleeding is the leading cause of death for those under the age of 40. Whereas the campaign is a public-private partnership led by the U.S. Department of Defense and supported by a number of organizations, including the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Stop the Bleed Coalition, American Red Cross, American College of Surgeons, American College of Emergency Physicians, and the American Heart Association. Whereas the campaign is based upon the lessons the Department of Defense learned in Afghanistan and Iraq on the best ways to treat traumatic injuries involving severe blood loss. Whereas each year, the Thursday of Emergency Medical Service Week is proclaimed Stop the Bleed Day by the campaign to engage the public to learn more about how to become empowered to save lives. Now, therefore, our mayor, Walter Welch, mayor of the city of Alachua, representing the city and the city commission, do hereby proclaim May 21st, 2026, Stop the Bleed Day. Witness whereof, our mayor has set his hand this 4th day of May 2026, signature for Walter Welch, our mayor, and the appropriate motion is to pass the proclamation as read by its entirety.
We'll move to item F.
Good evening again. Tara Malone, Human Resources Director. This item is Mental Health Awareness Month 2026. The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration recognizes May as Mental Health Awareness Month, my goodness, I'm so sorry, month, to promote and increase awareness about the crucial role mental health plays in our overall health and well-being. Recommended action this evening is for the City Attorney to read the proclamation declaring May as Mental Health Awareness Month 2026. Real quickly, though, I did want to share with you, just so you know, the city's commitment, and also this is through the efforts of Mr. Cap Wilson and his negotiation for our benefits each year. But historically, we've only had one of our riders offer an employee assistance program. We now have two. So that's been a tremendous effort. We've had a lot of folks utilize that, not only, mental well-being, but also help with if you're having legal issues or financial, workshops and training and things along that line. So continues our commitment with current administration to support our employees. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, this is Mental Health Proclamation. Whereas Mental Health Awareness Month was established in 1949 to increase awareness of the importance of mental health and the wellness of Americans' lives and to celebrate recovery from mental health illness. Whereas the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration has recognized Mental Health Awareness Month every May to increase awareness about the vital role mental health plays in our overall health and well-being. Whereas with early and effective interventions, those individuals with mental health conditions can recover and lead full and productive lives. Whereas each business, school, government agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizen shall share the burden of mental health problems and has a responsibility to promote mental health wellness and support prevention efforts. Now, therefore, our mayor, Walter Welch, as the mayor of the city of Alachua, representing the city and the commission, hereby proclaims May of 2026 as Mental Health Awareness Month 2026. Look around and look within. In witness whereof, our mayor has set his hand this 4th day of May 2026, signature for Walter Welch, our mayor. Appropriate motion is to pass the proclamation as read by its entirety.
We'll move to item G.
Thank you, Mayor. Tara Malone, Human Resources Director. This last item is Peace Officers Memorial Day 2026. In 1963, the United States Congress and President John F. Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which it falls as National Police Week. This is a time to honor each and every one of our law enforcement officers across the country that have given the ultimate sacrifice and service to their communities and citizens whom they took on an oath to protect. I'm actually presenting this item on behalf of Chief Sandusky. Happily, I might add, originally he had a scheduling conflict, but as most of you know, I started out at APD, so it's very near and dear to my heart. He is going to come up and share a few words with you, though. We do have our annual Law Enforcement Memorial this Thursday at Kanapaha Memorial Park, 7 p.m., Thursday, May 7th. So I think he kind of wanted to touch on that, too. It's a beautiful ceremony. Sad, but it's very, very breathtaking. So, Chief, actually, I just gave out all your information, but go ahead.
I'm happy to restate. Again, for the record, Jesse Sandusky, Chief of Police with the Alachua Police Department. Thank you for allowing me to come up here and address the commission tonight. As Tara said, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it tonight, so we had her read it for me, but I'm here. So, like she said, I did want to invite everybody. We do have a solemn but beautiful ceremony that we do every year at the Alachua County Police Memorial site out at Canapa Hall Park off of Tower Road in Gainesville, if you're not familiar with that location. And we do this every year. We honor those officers in the state of Florida, as well as Alachua County that died in the line of duty. I will be reading names this year for officers that were killed in the line of duty. So, again, it's a very solemn but very beautiful event. So, I invite anybody in the community or within the city that would like to join us. It's at 7 p.m. at that location. So, again, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, with that, I'll read the proclamation. Whereas in 1963, the Congress of the United States and President John F. Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which it falls as National Police Week. Whereas there are approximately 900,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated men and women of the Alachua Police Department. Whereas since the first recorded death in 1791, more than 23,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and died or have been killed in the line of duty. Whereas members of the Alachua Police Department play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of the city of Alachua. Whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand problems, duties, and responsibilities of their law enforcement agencies, and that members of the Alachua Police Department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and providing and protecting the innocent against deception, the weak against oppression or intimidation. Now, therefore, our Mayor, Walter Welch, as Mayor of the City of Alachua, representing the city and the city hereby proclaims May 15th, 2026 as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and witness whereof our mayor has set his hand this 4th day of May 2026. Signature for Walter Welch, our mayor. The appropriate motion is to pass by reading of its entirety.
Thank you. Is there any comments from the public on the subject, not on the agenda?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, and members of the City Commission. My name is Karen Wabel, and I live at 12486 Northwest 194th Terrace in Alachua, of course, Quail Roost, with my husband since 2009. For the better part of the last year, my husband and I, along with several of our neighbors, have been dealing with loud music coming from the property behind us on Peggy Road. This music begins sometimes as early as 6:30 in the morning and goes into the night, during the week, and on weekends. The speakers are conveniently located in the backyard since there are no doors on this house and are at usually a high volume. Our home is 200 feet from the property line, and I can sometimes hear the actual lyrics from my bedroom. I recently had a surgery and was working remotely for 5 weeks. By the time I signed into my laptop at 7:30 in the morning, the bass coming through the backyard speakers was already shaking the window and made it impossible for me to work. I'm a court reporter, so that's important. The property is, as we understand, the registered owner is selling it on a contract to the mother of the young man who's living there. Many calls have been made to the police department, who politely tell us there's no noise ordinance, so there's nothing they can do except to suggest to him to turn it down. He knows this, and we've heard him say he doesn't care what the neighbors say. He will continue to play the music as loud as he wants to. We called code enforcement, who confirmed there's nothing that can currently be done without an ordinance. He suggested we could file a civil nuisance lawsuit against the homeowner. This may sound like a good idea, but my husband and I are planning to retire in the next couple years. This means we have to use money saved for retirement to sue someone for being an inconsiderate neighbor. It doesn't make any sense, but it may be our only option. Alachua is a good life community, neighbors helping neighbors, mutual respect. This isn't true right now in Quail Roost. The city of Alachua needs a noise ordinance to help protect those of us who are good neighbors. Thank you.
Mr.
Thank
Mayor,
you.
Mr. Mayor, I guess I got a question on this for the city manager. This is the second time a different person has come to us with concerns about how we can enforce, I don't know what the words, dealing with noise nuisances. This is the second time, I believe, this year that in separate instances where it seems like it. So I know we talked at the first time about options that we have with Chief and the city. What direction do you need from us as a city commission to move this along? Because it's starting to seem like this is becoming a thing, and then as we grow as a city, it becomes more prevalent if we don't get ahead of these issues now. And then we're just, dealing with these issues and we're just twiddling our thumbs. Is this something that I need to put on the agenda for a discussion? Is this something we need to deal with our strategic? What is the recommendation from the city manager on how to approach this problem?
We do have the strategic initiatives coming up. That would be the ideal time to bring these topics.
Thank you.
Thank you. Will there be any comments?
Hi, good evening. My name is Angela Powers. I also reside in the city of Alachua, also off of 194th Terrace, dealing with the same issue. I just want the members to think about the safety issue in this. This isn't just an annoyance of being bothered by somebody's loud music. If the city does not give its residents a safe, peaceful way for a resolution, this could escalate into violence. The city, the police department need proper tools to enforce such things. And the city of Alachua needs to protect its residents. We need safe resolution, and that's what the noise ordinance is about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, all. Rudy Rothseiden, a resident. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I've just a couple things I wanted to highlight. I've not been able to attend a full concert series any particular night. I have a soccer practice on Friday nights, but I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I just want to applaud all the volunteers, all the hard work that's gone towards this, and bringing some arts and culture to our downtown. I also want to highlight that our downtown is our city center, and our city centers are being divided right now. Our city centers are being created in all the different neighborhoods that are being developed around our area, and I would like you to please maintain focus on what our true heart of our city is, our downtown. I don't know if this is okay for me to talk about, but this is stuff that was on the agenda, the presentations. The hippie program sounds really cool. I first looked at it, $61,000. Wow, that's a lot. But then you break it down for 25 kids, that's under $2,500 per kid, and for a year's time, that's not a lot of money. And there's nothing like one-on-one tutor, educational type things. I had a couple things I needed to work on as a kid, and went to a one-on-one tutor at University of Florida. My parents had to do some extra work to afford what that was, and but there's some awesome programs, and this seems like a pretty cool program. And the whole idea of getting kids prepared and making our future better is a wonderful thing. Congratulations on the water quality, but I just also want to highlight, we also want to not only maintain water quality but water quantity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. Soria Lindberg here. I want to bring something up to you all, and I'm also going to follow it up with an email this week so you're aware. I recently attended a neighborhood meeting for the Hathcock Community Center design. This was at NV5, and it was attended by 3 members of the public. I was one of them. Neither of the 3 of us live around there. We were there as an interested citizens. And something came up that was really interesting. At a meeting, you all might recall, Monarch brought 3 designs for the Hathcock Center. One where their parking lot had 2 entrances from south to north. Is it 1 story? Is it 2 story? You had a really lovely open discussion about different designs, but there was no vote. You didn't pick a design because we thought maybe it's coming later and I have to review the video to see exactly what you said. But at the neighborhood meeting, there was only 1 design. So as the public, we asked, well, how did it go from 3 choices to 1? And this is interesting to me because as the commission, you're the landowner here, and this is your project. It's not someone else coming to you with what they want designed. This is what you want for the citizens. And I didn't really get an answer. I don't know if how they picked that one. And this is really interesting because the next step after they go through staff review, and they said in their presentation that it would be from June to November or December, the planning and zoning board would decide on the design because it's under 80,000 square feet. So my request to you is, whether it's in this meeting or when it comes up again very soon, request that those designs come back so you can have a discussion and have the public have an option to weigh in about what kind of design you want. Do you want it 1 story? Do you want it 2 story? Is there going to be a career source there? And also there's only about 4 handicap spots. So these are things that I think would be fair for the public and you all to have this discussion so you can pick the design of the center because it's your money, it's your citizens to have that opportunity. So again, I'll put it all in an email. It'll be shared with the public, but I wanted to give you the first kind of thoughts I had from that so you can make the decision that would be best for you all. So yeah, I was really curious how it went from 3 designs to 1, and you're not going to see it again unless you ask for it to come back again. So thank you.
Thank you.
Respected leaders of our wonderful city of Alachua, thank you for the opportunity to speak. Speaking of water quantity.
Your name, please.
Diane Crunkleton. I live in Alachua. Speaking of water quantity, I wrote to the commission, emailed you, I don't know, last week or the week before, asking you to vote no on this farmland bill. I know that's coming up in June at a meeting, but I just wanted to say that I was concerned about where's all this water coming from, that we're going to have all this development on this farmland. Now I have another concern. I want to tell you what happened to me. A couple days ago, we're reading the New York Times, and we're reading about data centers and all the problems and all the things that are going on in the United States right now. And we became curious, so we did a search. Is there anything around Alachua? And we were shocked to find out there's property at 12705 Northwest US Highway 441 being advertised as a high megawatt data center development site. It's 109 acres, and those in my community have been very concerned about this. I live 4 miles away from there, but I immediately started feeling for the people that live there. What's going to happen to the water? What's going to happen to the land? I just read a research article that said even the land around a data center is 16 degrees hotter than other land. What's this going to do? It's going to kill. Okay, so these data centers use a ton of water. They pollute a ton of water. And I'm just wondering, where's all this water going to come from? On a bright note, I saw that the state, as other states are becoming concerned about this issue, they passed Senate Bill 484, which will be effective July 1st. The last section in that says they require that there will be a policy analysis. The state is saying, yeah, the governance of these data centers is turned over to local authorities, but it says there must be a study done, and I'll just read a few lines of this. The study must assess impacts on economic development and tax revenues, land, water, and other natural resources, energy use and related cost and rate impacts, and public health and safety. The study must also include recommendations on facility siting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Natron Curtis, lifelong citizen here in the city of Alachua, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Madam Mayor, and all our commissioners here. Just want to say, first of all, congratulations again on the award for the water quality. Very proud of our city and all that's happening in the water development community here as well. And also, as it relates to the design and things of that nature of the Hathcock Center, is my understanding, and I was actually a part of those initial um, um, workshops that we did vote at that time of what we did want to have. And I'm assuming that that point in time that the vote did go for it and that they took the information for which we contributed through those various workshops and came up with the design that is presented, that was presented. So I am definitely looking forward to it, even as it relates to I guess the programs that are going forth with the children, the hippie, that the presentation that was given. You know, $61,000 relatively not a lot to some, it is to others, and especially talking about going to certain kind of homes and that need is there, that desire is there. And one of my concerns in the presentation was hearing kind of an issue of the teaching the parents, teaching the parents, teaching the parents, and the parents that are being taught. And I don't know about you, but I don't like to be talked down to, especially in my own home. It's one thing to teach and tell me what I need, but I'd like to see more research as in the point of where this need is coming from in our area and how much it says 900 something kids, but only 25 are being targeted, are being considered for the program. And then as Representative, Commissioner, you mispointed out how are they selected of those 900 and something. So those are just concerns. I'm not saying it's not a need, but it definitely is concern. And as a member of the community and also a member of the religious community, definitely want more information on that before we make decisions, because that money could go into other projects where more kids can be taught, to be trained, and have that access to where they can walk there with the Hathcock Center, other things, which I am definitely passionate about, and I'm ready to see that building go up. So thank you all very much for your time and your help.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I do want to point out regarding the site plan for the Hathcock Center, we did not make a formal vote on the finalized site plan design to be sent to the PZB at all. So I just want to be clear for us as fellow commissioners, the site plan that is being sent in for approval did not get approved by us before it's being sent there. And then the actual design of the building also has not been finalized as well.
So, Mr. Mayor, we have the commission's
Yes.
voice. We have your goals. We are providing a site plan that hits all of your objectives. We're providing a design of the Hathcock Center that submits all your objectives. We'll submit the final plans to this commission for final vote. And so we're holding true to form to the direction you guys have given us.
Mr. Mayor, for the city manager, did this commission vote to approve the design of the site plan to be submitted?
For us to submit the site plan, a vote from this commission is not required. Your goals are being hit with the site plan design that's being submitted.
So that's a no. Has any of my fellow commissioners seen the finalized site plan that's going to be sent to the PZB? So that's no. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, just make one comment that what he's recommending is not true to form. Again, will be submitted to planning and zoning, and if there's any confrontation, it'll be presented to the city commission. And so the city commission will be informed as the process takes place.
So again, If it's being sent to the Planning and Zoning Board and the Planning and Zoning Board approves it, does it go back for us for approval for the site plan?
I'm sorry, could you make that statement again, Commissioner?
My question is, if it goes before the Planning and Zoning Board, is that a recommendation or approval?
When it goes in front of the Planning and Zoning Board for their approval?
For the site plan that has been designed, right, and that the workshop was for, that site plan itself, when
Mr.
it goes
Mayor,
before
we're
the
following the processes that are established with the City of Alachua.
But there we go. So that's a no, again, my fellow commissioners, that no, we will not know the final site plan of the Hathcock Center until
I
it is approved.
I think the city manager answered your question the best of his ability. Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I'm not asking a question.
Well, we're gonna move on. If this is and I'd like for you to lower your comments or come to the podium. Let's be respectful. And I am in charge of this meeting. I want y'all to understand that. And when there's confusion, I'm gonna cease it. Y'all got me? Okay, then live with it. Um,
Thank you.
comments.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak, respected commission members. My name is Sandra Elsey, and I moved here from Hawaii to Alachua in 1989. It was a difficult move, but going down the Ichetucknee River and to the various springs, it was good. It was nice, and I'm happy to be here. So when I look at the emblem of the Good Life community and see people like Nate getting an award for fresh water, for all of that. And then the thought of like a data center, which I've also done some research on, coming into our community, using up so much of our pure water, it just doesn't fit with the idea of the Good Life community. I would just like your permission to read something very quickly. What's the environmental impact of a data center? Unchecked electricity demand from data centers threaten to increase health and climate harming pollution, deplete water supplies, and undermine our transition to clean energy. Nearby communities suffer from increases in local air and water pollution, electronic waste, and noise pollution. So to me, our Good Life community, it doesn't include any of this. So I'm hoping the commission will really, think of this very seriously and not allow for that data center to be here in our Good Life community. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Will there be any more comments?
Good evening. My name is Umesh, and I also second this thing that loud music. It's especially yesterday itself. I was at a gas station, and people are playing like crazy loud blaring music out of their cars. Even means I heard from some homes as well where I was around in the neighborhood. And other question is, I looked at the city website and meetings, and I did not saw the agenda. I think I checked last Friday. So is there a cutoff date, or like it's released right at the moment? So there should be some advance time, like where we can kind of look around the things or have questions, we can follow up, like come prepared to the meeting, like any other meetings there are. And the very concerning topic for me, and this is kind of a very personal, the traffic right in front of the city hall, 441 and 140th Street. And on top of it, trucks are running wild. Means forget the cars, traffic. And I had a very close incident. Means I could have been hit by a truck. I was turning and I saw the the truck coming. I don't know. It is all these roads around here. They don't have a speed limit more than 55 or 50 to the max. and I can tell that the truck was running like a bullet, 670 mile an hour, large truck. It it could have been a fatality. And every morning, any time of the day I come around and the trucks, and on top of it I am hearing, means we are having a lot of development coming. That is good. Means I love development. It's good for the economy, good for everything. But what about the traffic going on? Means already, means in the evening, in the mornings, we have quite a bit of traffic. And I heard like 441 cannot be like more lane. It's 2 lane limited. Maybe I am wrong, but all these things means need some sort of, and plus some fellow citizens raised about the water as well. I don't know much about it, but I had lived in city of Chicago downtown for 2 years, and I can tell you I felt like a hostage because I cannot get out in the evening because traffic is going to the suburb. And anytime I visited, luckily, means even going to anybody in the weekends was also a nightmare because there are bottlenecks everywhere. And so whenever I see traffic, like please maintain that something, or I don't know, please consider that in every kind of planning effort. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask something about, because it was very important what you did bring up about public notification. The agenda is posted on the website, and we do post it in 3 places publicly. The library is one of them, City Hall, and Post Office. So if you need the location where, and so the meeting agenda is posted on Fridays, or there should be posted on Thursdays.
Mayor, can I add something?
Yes.
On the website, you have to go to meeting overview, click all the way to the left for it to come. When we did an adjustment and move, it took me a minute to figure it out as well. So when you click on it, it says no agenda, but there's a meeting overview with the 3 lines. Click on that.
Looked everywhere. Right now, I have this agenda on the phone. I came here, it was no printout. So I'm looking on the agenda and everything on the phone right now.
Mayor, I'll be more than happy to sit with him afterwards and make sure.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing it
Thank
to our
you.
attention.
Hi, I'm Sherry McCormick, and I'd like to address a line in Mr. Ligman's real estate listing for the property that's being marketed for the data center. Quote, for operators evaluating phased campus scale growth, the 104-acre footprint provides ... long-term scalability, end quote. So apparently scalability is how these hyperscaler large data center companies like Amazon Web build these data center sites in phases, as they call it. They add buildings as the demand for, the AI increases. So I'm curious that after a certain length of time, apparently this goes on for years, when they max out the 104-acre lot with however many buildings it'll fit, will they be able to, with all of their income, purchase surrounding acreage? Because as was mentioned before, Florida's Senate Bill 484 that was just passed and goes into effect in July, right before they voted on this bill, they actually watered it down and removed non-disclosure agreement clause. So basically, starting on July 1st, these large-scale data center companies can come in and enter into agreements with our local governments, and they don't have to tell any of us tax-paying people about it for 1 year, and that includes any specific information on data on water use. So basically, if whoever purchases that property maxes out on their 104 acres and are able to purchase property, none of us are going to know about it for a year. And then it's a done deal. And now we don't have 104, 60, whatever kilowatt. We've got 2. So no mandatory public disclosures of new developments is what is in our SB 484. It also requires large-scale data centers to use reclaimed water instead of potable water whenever it is, quote, environmentally, economically, and technically feasible, end quote. Feasible. Well, Merry Christmas, operators of data center, because they use our clean water because it is not cost-effective for them to clean it. Technically feasible, that's kind of a joke because currently there's no engineering solutions that are cost-effective for how these people can clean reclaimed water and use it for their whatever evaporative cooling towers and be more cost effective than using our drinking water. So as far as I'm concerned, that was a pathetic attempt of our state legislature to try to appease us, and I think it's kind of insulting to put that in there when there's nothing available. Feasibility, what a crock of crap that word is. Anyway, also in SB 484, they're supposed to prevent residents from utility rate hikes. Well, I've got a little bit more on that, but I'm done. So
Thank,
that's
thank
not
you.
going to happen because we're going to have utility rate hikes because we have local infrastructure that needs to
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I add an item? I think there seems to be a common theme about data centers, and I'm very happy to hear that our community is on board and on point. We've been working with the planning department to address your concerns, so much so that in our next joint meeting with the county, this is a topic that's going to be brought up and discussed on the next meeting. So thank you guys for doing it. Thank you for doing your homework. I look forward to seeing the same faces to discuss the data center at the next joint meeting with the county. Is that important? We put it on the joint meeting. It's not, the city of Alachua is not going to solve this one problem. We're going to do it together. And so
May 18th.
yes, Mr. Mayor, but just to let you know, that's on the agenda for next meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I would also point out for
Yes.
those of the public, on May 19th, the very next day, we will be having our Alachua 2050 public workshop. So the feedback that comes out of that joint meeting, if you're satisfied with it or unsatisfied, or you want other information for us to know, that's a great opportunity for your feedback, not only on data centers, but on traffic, schools, how our city plans to grow over the next decades. So again, that's on May 19th, 6 to 8 p.m., just for those of the public who may be wanting to leave.
Where is that held?
That will be held here at City Hall.
Thank you.
Commission. Oh, sorry, Mr. Mayor. Also, there's the 2050 survey. I don't know if city staff has closed that survey yet, but you can also provide your feedback for the city digitally that way.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commission. My name is Tamara Robbins. Mr. Mayor, I take offense with you shaming the public, so I'm going to put that on the record.
Excuse me.
Mr. Mayor, I have the
No,
floor
no,
right
no,
now.
no, no, no. You will not disrespect me in this court. Now, you can do a comment if you like, and
It's a
that's
free
what.
country,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, but I don't have to let you disrespect
I'm
me.
not disrespecting. I'm
All
saying
right,
I
thank
will
you.
not be shamed in this
Okay,
meeting room.
all right.
And I do not, Mr. Mayor, appreciate Mr. Commissioner Fletcher's comments to be
Okay,
cut
we're
short
not.
because
Is you gonna
this
make
is
a comment
is this a
not on the?
constitutional violation right here?
No, no.
I have a right to speak.
Well, then speak.
I am speaking, but you keep interrupting me and using my time.
Okay.
So, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to thank Commissioner Fletcher for his.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Right. I would like my time to start over.
I'll give you some more time.
So, Commissioner Fletcher, thank you for your persistence on the questions about the Hathcock Center. I, too, was at that neighborhood meeting, one of the 3 residents there. And one of the things I found was interesting is that the adjacent property, the lot that the city purchased in order to have enough land to build this facility, has not even been rezoned yet. So the land's not even rezoned properly to like community or whatever it is. It's still residential. And a site plan's being created using that property. It's out of sequence. Why is that? The sequence should be the property should get rezoned, and then you all should be approving what exactly you want to be built. And then the consultant designs a site plan and they go through the process. I mean, it was so confusing there that there were 3 residents there and you all didn't know. They're having a stage that's like in the way back of the property. Really? Is that a good idea? Did you guys approve that? Everybody's got to walk all the way back there to some stage out in the back past the parking lot. Really? Do you all know about that? I mean, I'm looking at faces that are like, we don't have any idea what you're talking about. That's the point, is that you have not approved specifically what the building is that you want to have the site plan for the community center. Why is that? There was no vote.
So for Mr. Mayor, for the city manager to act like, oh, it's all within some sequence. No, it's not. You guys should be voting on what exactly is going to be, we're going to pay for and what the community has a right to expect. I mean, I just don't get it. So that neighborhood meeting was kind of a farce. It went on for an hour. I'm going to throw out a word I think y'all should be considering is called moratorium. It's a moratorium on taking in any new permits for development until y'all figure out and go through your comprehensive plan review. 2050 vision? Well, this woman can do math. And 2050 probably is unlikely in my future. So I don't know, you guys ought to be able to you ought to work on trying to plan maybe 10 years out. Because 2050 in my mind is an absolute, I can't imagine anybody planning into 2050. And why? We're probably going to be out of water in 15 years. So moratorium, y'all need to slam the brakes on taking in any new applications for site plan. You have massive taking over of agricultural land on both ends of the city. At least 5 new town centers want to be created. And you all don't have a plan that you will stick with because you change it every other week. So, and I never got a survey in the mail. I thought those comp plan surveys were supposed to go out in the mail. I didn't get one. I guess I got to play social media in order to participate. I thought that's what the city manager said. Surveys were going out in the mail. And that was supposed to include some survey about live streaming. We don't hear any more about that, do we? We don't even know who the city manager hired because he won't tell us. So the
Go ahead,
live
I'll give you
streaming
some more time.
should be updated. It should be happening. It should have happened. You voted in June of last year to do this. And there was no plan sent out to the public. And a moratorium is what this community needs in order for y'all to get your feet underneath what's going on, because this train is way out of the station.
Thank you. Please lower your voice. Will there be any more comments?
Hello, hello. My name is Parham. I've moved here in '99, so I've been here for quite a few years. I'm not political. This is hard for me to be up here watching the town disappear and change the way it is for my children, for our future, for the Good Life community. It's not the direction that I think any of us had planned or thought Alachua would be heading. The same stuff that Tamara's talking about, all this development. I mean, we went from single family residential homes to now in the middle of 241. Now you've got all these all over. I mean, just packing these homes in as close as they can. Worse than Orlando. I mean, they talk about these different places where we're just too many homes. All of our roads now, I don't know if you try to drive here in the evening, if you're going to try to go from Gainesville to High Springs or anywhere around here, the roads are clogged. I mean, you can't get anywhere. And the growth that we're moving at, it's only going to get worse and worse and worse. We don't need a Tioga. We don't need another huge, we're 15 minutes from Gainesville. If we need to go down to Target, it's not that far away. We don't need one right in our backyard. Let's see, downtown, keep our downtown. That's what makes this town cute. That's the billboards, right? Come to the downtown. This is where the history's at. We don't want to look like Gainesville. We don't want to look like Orlando, like every other city with everything's the same exact stores and the same exact shops. We want to have a cute downtown with shops that people can go to. Right now, they're all full of lawyers and everything else. There's barely any retail down there for even people to even walk through anymore. There's no shops that you're like, oh, let's go shopping. And it's like, oh, there's 3 or 4 shops now. I know there's a few new restaurants coming in, a couple new Japanese places and different stuff, but keep that cute feel. Keep Alachua small. Keep it. I mean, we're already past that. But if we can slow it down, if we can stop that and keep what once was a cute, nice town that people like to come to, because if we keep going, we're just going to be like every other place. There's nothing special about us anymore. We're just going to be another cement, no trees. I mean, I drive by Hipway every day taking my daughter to school. They just gutted it. It's disgusting. Leave a 10-foot perimeter at least. Put some tree, leave something. But like, why do we have to clear cut the whole place and just, it's losing the charm. It's so much has disappeared in these last couple of years, and I'm afraid in the next 5 to 10, it's gone, and there's no charm left. And all the price of everything now, with we're talking about the real estate, that's appealing to people from New York and California. Oh, it's only 350,000. Well, 5 years ago that was 150,000, and the local people growing up here, they can't afford that. We can't keep up. We're still paying $20 an hour. Anyways, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Will there be any more comments?
Hello, my name is Deborah Havlick. I'm a resident of Alachua. As I've said before, I really think we should pause. We really, before growing anymore, we really need to think about our water and our future. Right now, Orlando, I saw a video. I'm sorry, I can't tell you what, but there's many sinkholes forming around Orlando. When Tampa grew really, really quickly, which is that's also above karst around Orlando. Also Tampa, they did some really fast growth. Some storms came, many sinkholes forming. Some of these sinkholes are swallowing homes or two homes. We don't want that to happen. And I don't think that we can afford to be growing at the rate we're growing without thinking about that future. We really, of course, people want to sell their land and make money. That's obvious, But if we don't slow down and really, really plan and think about our sewage and our water, especially our water, do we want our great grandchildren to be able to have water to drink? We have to really, really consider this every time somebody tries to add to. There are other places in Florida where people can go to these stores and these restaurants, and we need to keep this farmland. And I know it's already been sold as commercial, but we don't need to put a big thing like a Walmart or something like that there. You should never consider that. We have plenty of Walmarts in this world, in this country. We don't need another one.
Will there be another?
Good evening, commissioners, lawyers, manager. My name is Nakula. I moved from California a few years ago, and I heard that, the Socrates, as a wise man once said, the only thing I know is that I don't know. And I have fallen in love with Alachua's beautiful trees, the live oaks, even the water oaks that fall down all the time during the storms and stuff. But yeah, just to emphasize what someone else said, a moratorium on the development that's taking away forests just like that. I know that Terra Phoenicia got stopped, but I was driving by and I was just like, oh my God, they're just clearing hundreds of acres that used to be just all trees. And I didn't know you could, like, I was just like, oh, well, that's, I guess, I mean, what can I do to like, I mean, so you just watch it. And then as someone mentioned, the hip way as well, that's to avoid traffic. You have to try to find I'm learning all about Alachua, trying to find the back roads. I go to High Springs on the back road because I don't want to come through downtown Alachua because the trucks this is a major thoroughfare to go to their distribution center on Eliano. So it's like you're not going to get to Publix in under a half an hour at traffic time. and and I guess I know there's farmland that's turning into commercial land or even to housing developments. I actually appreciate I have 5 acres and I can only put one small ADU on it, right? That's for most single householders. But then on other places, I'm watching a property and they have all these compact homes right here. They get some kind of special exemption and they're able to do something totally different and pack in a bunch of homes. And and then everywhere I'm looking, it's like a development starts, they put in 20 houses, then a couple months later you drive by and it's 40 houses and then 60 houses, as you guys all already know. And that just seems like that's happening everywhere, all over. And then I guess Hipway was really shocking to see that all of a sudden this beautiful forested cut through with an area is going to be completely gentrified. There's going to be all these people with dilapidated small homes, and then there's going to be all these really nice new homes with people that are coming from other places like myself. Thank you.
Nakoa, can you state your last name for the record?
Yeah, Nikula Hertz, Hertz.
Thank you. Any more comments from the public? If not, we'll move on to item 4.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Carson J. Crockett, Principal Planner with the City of Alachua for the record. Ordinance 26-09 was originally advertised in the newspaper and mailers were sent out for today's hearing. This also goes for Ordinance 2610, the following hearing. However, posted notice signs were not properly placed on the subject property. As such, staff is recommending that the City Commission defer the hearing and first reading of Ordinance 2609 to a date certain of June 8th, 2026.
Mr. Mayor, question for Carson on this. Does this count as the one-time extension for the applicant?
Mr. Mayor, that might be more of a question for our attorneys. However, it would be my understanding that the answer is no.
I would concur with Carson on that.
Is there a reason why this extension doesn't count on the behalf of the applicant if they failed to
It's
do the
not
notice, or was it
applicant that
us?
is- I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. This is not an applicant request. This is a procedural due process matter, and it would be improper for us to move ahead on this basis. So it is not a deference related to the applicant.
Who's responsible for posting?
Mr. Mayor, the applicant is responsible for posting posted notice signs on the property.
How do we find out, how was it brought to our attention that it was improperly noticed?
So, Mr. Mayor, we require that a posted notice affidavit be signed by the applicant or one of their agents that go out there and actually post the property. The day after the posting was required to be done, which was, I don't have the exact date off the top of my head, but it was a Monday. The following Tuesday, the affidavits were still unsigned and not picked up at our front counter. We double checked and the signs had not been updated.
Okay, so this was something on behalf of the applicant.
Mr. Mayor, the staff provides the required materials for posted notice signs, but under our code, that's correct. Yes, the applicant is responsible for posted notice signs.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move to item B.
Mr. Mayor, I think we have to make a motion to
Oh,
defer
I'm
this.
sorry. Is there a motion on
I want to
the
be
audience?
I just want to be clear for the public. This is not any way describing any of our stances to defer. It's strictly a procedural issue with this. So I'm going to move that this commission defer the hearing and first reading of ordinance 26-09 to a date certain of June 8th, 2026.
Second.
It's been moved to second. Is there any public comments on the motion?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayor. My name is Gary Pappas. I live at 16104 Northwest 188th Street, directly across from the Southeastern Tree Farm, which is the object of the ordinance you're moving on. In conjunction with Commissioner Fletcher's comments, I think this deferral should be attributed to the applicant, not to the city. It was the applicant's mistake, not the city's. This should be charged to the applicant because I am concerned that what will happen on June 8th is the applicant will then ask for their one-time deferral and push the meeting to July, when we will be right on top of the 250th anniversary of this country, and many, many people, including myself, will be out of town. As you all are well aware, there will be a lot of public comment on this ordinance, a land use change for a major shopping center on 441. So I encourage you to amend your motion that is before you to charge the applicant with this deferral so that it cannot be deferred any further past June 8th. Thank you.
Is there any more comments?
Hi, my name is, thank you very much, Vice Mayor, Mayor, Commissioners, and Attorney, City Manager. I really appreciate that the job you are doing, and it takes a lot of patience. Thank you so much for that. I want to say to the City Planning Manager, to you, sir, I did not get any more mailings, and I feel like this is a facade, and a lot of mailings may not be done or done in such a way that they did not reach us. And I really want this point to be noted. And I'm also in agreement that the deferral should be one time and the fees should be paid as penalties. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can we get, did you guys get her name for the record? Carson, you have it?
Oh, no, sorry. I was thinking you were going to ask about the mailing.
These mics are so low today.
Yeah.
They're
My
so
name
low.
is Nisha Chapada. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Soria Lindberg. I agree with the deferral to June 8th because the applicant failed to put up the signs when the city told them to. Mr. Mayor, it would be helpful to understand from either the city attorney or the city land use attorney in the back if it is the applicant's fault that it is being asked to defer, would it fall on the applicant? Or why is the city kind of taking this one? Because this also happened with Tara a couple years ago. Staff deferred it, then they got a deferral. And Mr. Mayor, to help everyone understand, the code as I understand it is the applicant gets one free deferral request. And then after that, if they want a deferral, you have to decide if they get a deferral or not. So if the way things are moving now, if you do not amend your motion, they still get a free one when it's their fault. It's not the city's fault that they didn't put the signs up. Whatever happened, it can still be in June, and you can still use their quote freebie. So I just wanted everyone to understand how that kind of works because I didn't know, and I read too much of the city websites. So.
Mr. Mayor, I guess I have a question for the city attorney. In the planning and the application process for this, the deferral is being requested by staff because of an action or a failure of action by the applicant. So my question would be is what stops any applicant from they want a deferral, they know 2 weeks out, and then they failure to properly notice to get that extension.
Mr. Mayor, my understanding is where we're at right now that there was a problem. I don't know where the problem lies or the fault of the problem at this stage. That's not been investigated by the legal staff at all. All I know is that there is a procedural due process problem at this point. I think it's premature, at least at this stage, to lay the blame with the city, lay the blame with the applicant, based on a theoretical application for another deference by the applicant, which we don't know whether they're going to take that step or not at this stage. So I think we can deal with that situation when it comes, and to make a prejudgment call at this point is, I think, premature, number one. And number two, we know we have a procedural due process point at this stage. And so that's the question that's before us.
So thank you. So the thing I do want to say on this is the reason why a decision has to be made now is because we have to make a decision now on this item. It is in front of us. And so then we must make a decision. The thing about procedural due process isn't a fact of our own code. It's actually ingrained, as you would agree with, in our society on providing due process to all people, not just the applicants, but the public. But the question now becomes whether or not that the failure to follow due process, which is on the behalf of the applicant to properly notice the public, is whether that burden of not following that falls on them or it falls on the public. So my understanding of it and my inclination is that by failing to properly notice the public, any benefits that they would get, they would lose out on. Because right now what we have is we have what seems to be an audience of people who are wanting to speak on it, but now they have wasted their evening, their time, and their money getting here to speak on this, and now they won't. And so now the question becomes, how do we prevent these types of opportunities of being taken advantage of our system? And so the options are either A, we go back and we have to write down our entire things, or we follow the framework in which is written where we as a commission can decide how we want to handle this deferment. So what I would suggest for my colleagues is that since this motion has already been seconded and it's on the floor, belongs to us all, I would recommend that we vote no, but we remake the motion again to defer it. However, we will decide that it is the applicant's one usage of their deferment because they did not follow the law and the requirements for this application process. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I just want to add, in life, you go to the DMV, they're going to ask you for certain things. If you don't have it, that's on you. If you go to the Social Security Administration, that's on you. I just did my onboarding. I had to go to Georgia to get my birth certificate because that was on me because I didn't have it. We got to get away from these developers, not doing the things that they need to do to get the approvals and different things that they want to do. You come in with millions of dollars. You come in with big time lawyers. Why aren't you doing these things and presenting stuff the right way? But we got to get away from excusing certain behaviors that are not advantageous to the city and the citizens of Alachua. Because again, we're the ones that keep getting and having to deal with the fallout after these things happen. And I think we got to stop that. We got to take a stance once and for all, moving forward. Forget what has happened in the past, but moving forward in a way that let them know that we're in partnership with you, but at the same time, it's a relationship that's symbiotic. We do our part, you do your part, and we can work this together. If not, then it's no deal. Go back to the drawing board and come back again. But we got to take a stand as a commission, as a city, and as citizens of Alachua to keep the good life community the good life community.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I just want to draw attention to the fact that the code does distinguish between a deferral and a continuance. The code does not grant the right of a deferral to the applicant. It grants the right of a continuance to the applicant. Just FYI.
Why don't you elaborate on that
Yeah,
further?
So, Mr. Mayor, as I understand it, and as one of our attorneys can confirm, a deferral would be before the hearing even starts. A continuance would be after the hearing starts.
The question for the city attorney: are we in a hearing right now?
There's a request to defer this to a date certain in the future. So
That's for quasi, isn't it?
It is for.
This is not a quasi item. This is a legislative item.
We're just doing a procedural motion.
Right, because if this is a legislative item, we have leeway to deny it outright right now, couldn't we?
The question is, can we deny it outright? Well, exactly. I mean, you have to have all parties before you and an opportunity for all parties to speak, be sworn in, and give a presentation.
But that's for the next item.
That's
not for this item that
right.
we're
This
hearing
is
right
legislative at this point.
now.
But
Right.
at this,
So we could actually just deny this item outright for failure to follow procedure, or can we just say that they have no more continuance on this
I have
item?
not heard and I have not conclusively understood where the problem lies. There may be some other reasons as to
from what staff said, it was failure by the applicant to have the affidavit signed that would guarantee that the public notice signage was properly posted.
It seems to me, Mr. Mayor, there's a bit of a leap in logic at this point to say, okay, we know conclusively what has transpired and what has happened. And as somebody who's in a court of law all the time, to make that leap of logic at this point is, I think, premature. I think you have an opportunity at some stage in the future to deny continuance, to grant a continuance, but there needs to be a lot more investigation and there needs to be a lot more testimony before this board before we make a conclusory decision that fault is at the hands of the developer in this instance. We just don't know conclusively.
So again, Mr. Mayor, and this, I'm talking about the legislative hearing. When we get into quasis, there's a much different process that we have to follow. So I guess a question for planning staff would be is, if this is a continuance, or this is not a continuance, this is a deferral because legislative can get continuance or it cannot get continuance.
Mr. Mayor, I'd have to look closer at the code on that element specifically. The staff's recommendation and the motion on the floor, as I understand it, is for deferral.
Right. So we're talking about the next meeting on what we as commissioners are allowed to do at that point. Because again, what I'm trying to say here is I don't want due process to be abused to provide benefits to people who want to abuse them or not follow them. That's my stance on this. So if this is a legislative hearing and we can defer it, then what I would imagine is that at the next meeting, I just need to know is, will the applicant by right at a legislative hearing for this item, because I know we stack them with the quasis, will they have a right to continuance at that meeting?
Mr. Mayor, I don't know that off the top of my head.
So for my fellow commissioners, it's hard for me to if we can find that answer out, like how would we find out the answer of whether or not continuance is allowed by right for legislative process? Well, I'm positioning this question to everybody is how can we go on a decision if we don't know the proper process that happens after our decision?
Well, we're finna take a vote. Okay, come on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. So Mr. Mayor, I have to understand what Attorney Walker said. It hasn't been investigated fully. Well, why not? You have staff here, the applicant is here, the land use attorney is here, all the parties are in the room. How about if we get them up here and ask them what happened? Right? Like, that is not an acceptable answer, Mr. Mayor, by a city attorney. It is not. We don't have the information? Well, why not? It is Mr. Diedenbach is sitting right back there. He is the applicant. Where is JB Pro? He should be here too. Patrice Boyce, land use attorney's here. Let's get her up here and find out what happened. Answer the questions. If this was an applicant error, this could be a trend. It could set a precedent for the abuse of not following the protocol and getting a free pass of a deferral. That is not okay. This commission needs to, you should have had the public hearing, found the application incomplete, and they violated the law, and you vote no. It's simple. But since when does Jerry Diedenbach of NV5 not know the posting notice legal requirements? Seriously, he'll tell you he's been doing this for 35 years, and he has. And suddenly, they just didn't post notice, and they need a deferral. Well, you all need to have a clear understanding of what happened, Mr. Mayor, and that city attorney needs to get to the bottom of it so everybody in here knows what's going on.
We're going to have order.
We're kind of done getting the runaround by the developers. Commissioner Yomas, you were correct. Thank you, Commissioner. Because it always seems like when there's anything that's up in the question or not quite clear, first of all, there's never seems to be the effort to get clarity, right? And then it's the public that ends up paying the price. And the developer walks, they write the books, they're in the back room all day. Just saying, developers come in and out of this building like you would not believe because they have access. And newsflash to the city manager, the staff does not work for the developer, it works for us. So get to the bottom of it. Everybody is in this room that is party and responsible for what happened and get clear answers. And Mr. Mayor, Planner Crockett does an awesome job. That's the first time I've ever heard him say, I'm not clear on that code. Mr. Crockett memorizes the code. So I'm hearing a lot of I don't knows and we haven't looked into it. Get to the bottom of it now before you vote.
Thank you.
Vote no.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, I may not always have the code memorized, but I know where to look for it. The legislative process does permit for a continuance by right to the applicant as well, and as described in our land development regulations.
Thank you. We'll take a vote.
I just want to be clear myself, and I do agree with Jackson on this as well. Carson, I just need to, you're saying that on Monday it's supposed to be signed, hypothetically, I can't remember what you said, and then on Tuesday there was nothing signed. Is that correct?
Mr. Mayor, that's correct. The signed affidavits were not returned to us.
And so we're talking now because we're trying to figure out why they didn't sign it? I just want to be clear with what you're saying because I feel like
my stance isn't why it wasn't signed. Staff has confirmed it wasn't signed and process wasn't followed.
Right.
My concern is that we provide continuance by right as a benefit to applicants, but my concern is by not following due process, applicants can get around the one-time continuance for more favorable hearings and delay. When you have meetings for the public says, okay, this is on the agenda. They show up, the item gets deferred. They show up to the next one. They show up, it gets deferred again. And what I want to make sure is we don't set a precedent that type of process can be used and potentially abused within our own framework of our LDRs.
Okay, I agree with that as well.
Anything else?
Mr. Mayor, my advice to you is to do it the safest procedure right now, which is to continue the matter, defer the matter to a date certain in the future. If the applicant comes before you and says, hey, we want another deferral, another continuance by right, you can decide that at that point. You can say, wait a minute, you've already had your bite at the apple, and no, we're not going to, but there needs to be an opportunity to fully flesh that out. And I don't think we're at that point. We can decide that at a date in the future, but to to basically restrict the rights of the applicant in this instance, based upon the information that we have now, is procedurally improper with due process at this stage. That's my advice to you, and I would leave it at that. That's putting you in the safest position that you can be put in at this stage.
Mr. Mayor, so if we were to follow the city attorney's view on this, my question is what does the commission have to do to ensure that we have enough information, okay, by the next meeting, the June, that if it is on there, that we can make a determination if that they had already used their, what you would say is by right continuance. What would we as a commission need to direct the city manager to do to achieve that?
To investigate, to understand, and give a right to the applicant to discuss exactly what occurred. There's a bunch, let me give you an example. There's a bunch of law out there that something happened because there was an accident or somebody had a problem and could not timely do what is necessary to have done. And we don't know that factually at this point. So if under your suggested scenario in the future, if that happens, deal with it at that point. You don't have to deal with that right now, and give a full, fair opportunity for everyone to come forward and say, hey, we need another bite at the apple for these reasons. Well, why did this happen at this point?
But Mr. Mayor, the thing is my point is if we concede to that statement, my question is what next steps do we as a commission have to take before the next meeting? Because what's going to happen is if we just kick the bucket down the road and bring up these concerns at that meeting, will staff have had time to prepare and have all the answers for us to make that decision?
I think that at that point, Mr. Mayor, that there will be discussion between staff and the applicant that we don't want this to come up at the June 8th meeting. We want a deferral at that point.
But
right
again,
now,
that's
right now,
speculative.
wait. I'm still speaking, please. At that point, there can be that discussion, there can be that investigation that can be made, and then we can make a determination whether or not a continuance of deferral on June 8th would be granted by right or not.
My thing is, we're here now. We need to make a decision tonight because again, we can go back to having the same discussion in June and then
Commissioner.
going round and round.
I would suggest.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, my opinion, I think that we need to make a decision tonight, and so that it's not the same thing that we're talking about happening again in June, and keep going around and round and round about the same thing. You know, again, we've seen this before. You know, we've seen this movie before, and we need to stop. We need to stop it so that we can move on. And when we're talking about how it's going to affect the developer, but what about the citizens? What about the city? You know what I mean? So my thing is, if there's a decision that needs to be made, developers versus the city, I'm going to go with the city every single time. You know, that's because that's family, you know, and that's part of our job is to protect our family, the citizens of Alachua, you know, by any means necessary.
As a citizen, can I please just make a comment related? Please, thank you. The citizens need to know when it is. We have to buy, if we are going to be planning vacations, our children are not in school, we need to know in advance. We want to buy our plane tickets, but we want to be here. So one suggestion is, if he's going to defer it, those of us who were planning to be here on June 8th, can we make our comments for 3 minutes through Zoom or something? Because we don't know when to plan our vacation. Should we leave early in June because we think they're going to defer it to July? Should we make our, Some people are going to take one vacation. We need to buy our plane tickets in advance so they're not expensive. Not like waiting until after June 8th to see if it gets deferred so then we can plan our vacation. So can we do our 3 minutes? If you decide to defer it, we think it's going to be June 8th, and then he decides to defer it. And then we had plans for 4th of July somewhere else. Can we take the time to be on Zoom to give our 3-minute comments?
Said it.
Mr. Mayor, I call for the question.
Are you through?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
We'll
you
call
for your...
for a vote. I will start with Commissioner Fletcher. I thought we made a motion on this. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, it looks like you will have to have a motion, a second, and then.
All right. Is there a motion?
I withdraw my statement.
So there's a vote. So we're gonna call a vote. I'm calling. I like order in this meeting. Now we're gonna have order. I'm gonna call a vote, and I'm gonna start with Commissioner Fletcher.
Turn that off. uh, so, Mr. Mayor, based off of the public comment and the dialogue with the city attorney and planning staff, it seems like there's some issues and questions that have remained unanswered, affecting us from making I think, a knowledgeable and warranted decision on this. And so with that, due to the lack of clarity, the fact that continuously delaying these types of meetings when I remember when I sat on the other side of the dais and when these things would come up and they would keep getting pushed off. And those are nights that you should be spending with your family, right? As a commissioner, I view the thing is that if a commissioner is doing their job, the seats are empty, not because of the lack of communication, but the thought that the commissioners are doing a good job and the public knows that their city is in good hands. And concern with the precedents that this could set, I will have to be voting no. And I do want to clarify that per meeting rules, my nay vote and reasoning will be recorded in the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Move to Commissioner Umis.
No.
Commissioner Brown.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
I'm hesitant because no.
Mayor vote yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the item we can still talk about and make a different motion now on this item. So Commissioner Ringerson, what are your concerns that you would like addressed with a new motion?
It just for the deferral for the public to be able to attend the meeting or be able to give their input via Zoom or however it's needed that they feel. This is something that I also feel is important. I still don't have clarity on exactly what happened, but it sounds like just like anything, if I show up somewhere and I'm supposed to have something, I don't have it. So
I would like to remind the commission, and I believe the city attorney will agree with me. We shouldn't make a decision on the item in terms of approving or denying it, but the question of how do we defer it in the best interest of the public. And so if we want to keep the city attorney happy with this, What I would say is we defer this meeting, okay, for the same time, but we direct staff or direct the city manager to have a report ready so that when we do come up to that June 8th, we have a better understanding if there's an ask for continuance by right, and we can make that decision there. Because what I don't want to do again is we're providing as much leeway for everybody involved, right? By right, or they may have a continuance. The question is, do they have it to be used at the later date? We know right now they cannot use it, right? Because of due process. So the question is how do we balance that? And so I think the city attorney, if we do provide enough information to us for that next meeting to make that decision, is that possible?
I think you can make that a part of your motion, essentially to have staff inquire as to the factual basis as to what occurred, and then make a determination as to whether or not there should be a grant by right or not at the June 8th meeting.
Okay. And then the determination, is that something you recommend staff to make or the commission?
Ultimately, your determination.
Okay. All right. So
I have a question. Could we not have done the same amendment or the addition with the last motion? Just asking.
You could have amended it. I think, yes, you could have had an amendment to the motion and an acceptance by the second and voted. Is your question related? Maybe I'm making this as a statement. This is very close to what we just voted on, but it does specifically direct staff, city manager to investigate what the situation that led to this. So there is that difference, I'd say.
Just to be clear for everybody here on parliamentary procedures, when you do that amendment, it has to open up the floor again because it's a new motion technically on the floor. Is that correct? So procedurally, it's a little different. The effects are there's still another public comment. Do my fellow commissioners, do we have any things that we want to change on this, on having staff inquire? Mr. City Attorney, if you have that proper wording that you would prefer for that.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Jacobson, I didn't hear the last bit of what you asked.
So what would we need for this commission to make a proper decision on if the continuance by right was used by the inaction of this situation?
Given the discussion that has been on this dais this evening, I think Mr. Verdar is keenly aware of the issue and what your direction is.
I like things in writing.
I'm sorry?
I like things in writing.
I think your motion encompasses it, Frank. I think you're okay with where your motion is, if you were making that in the form of a
So
motion.
inquire the validity or the factual basis or
Factual basis.
the factual basis of like how would you want this worded?
Why the property wasn't posted in accordance with the Alachua City Code.
Okay, well, why don't we say public notice requirements not met? That sounds a little simpler. Okay. So let's try this one more time. So I'll move that this commission defer the hearing and first reading of ordinance 26-09 to a date certain of June 8th, 2026, and to direct the city manager, and I'll let you sort this out with how you want to get this done, to inquire the factual basis why the public notice requirements were not met and to present those findings to the city commission on June 8th, 2026. All right.
And encompassed in that is that the matter is being deferred to June 8th. It's not just the direction for him to inquire about this, but it's also.
Right, that's the first part.
Okay.
That's the first part I read. Yes, my motion has been made, sir.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, it's been moved to second. Yeah. Comments on the motion?
Comments on the motion. So I'm wondering if it should also include directives that the current code be reviewed for staff presenting options for amending for this doesn't happen again. Like if the applicant doesn't follow the rules, in my opinion, you deny the application, period. It's like, right? Like essentially what Commissioner Yomas was saying. If you can't follow the steps that are very clearly defined, and these applicants are very experienced, then the answer is the public hearing moves forward with the information that they did not follow the law, and you deny it flat out. You just go, no. Because I think state law 163 requires in the face of a comp plan amendment that it does not require posted notice. It requires mail out notice. It is city's code that requires posted notice. And I'm sure if I'm getting that mixed up, city attorney, or attorney Patrice Boyce will clarify, but state law says that in the event of a comp plan change, you make sure you have to mail notice. So the point is that is a city code requirement that has been violated. That to me is like you didn't provide the information and follow the rules in our code, and so your application's denied. It's pretty straightforward. So I know what you're doing, but there needs to be a remedy and in our code that doesn't allow this to happen again without a straight out no vote on the application, period. And I am going to clarify that when Commissioner Brown shouted out, calling the question is in itself a motion. And you don't shout it out. You get recognized like you would for any other motion. And the motion is to call the question. It needs a second and it needs a supermajority vote to pass. It's not debatable. Public comment doesn't happen because when you're going to stop debate, it has to be voted on. So it takes 4 or 5 of you to stop debate. So when I say calling the question is a motion, it's a motion. You don't get to just call the question and then vote on the pending motion that's on the floor. So even though the clerk comes out and tells you differently, it's not the way it is. It's a motion in itself. Thank you.
As a citizen trying to plan vacations for the summer, I just, how likely is it going to be taken care of on June 8th, or should we kind of plan to be here? And by June 8th, can you let us know if we're not here, that it would be on Zoom, or could you let us know before that so we can plan our vacation? Because we do want to make public comment, but we also want to plan our lives. So can you please consider that?
Thank you.
Hello, Sori Lindbergh. I keep wanting to refill my water bottle, but there's so much action going on. Thank you so much for listening to the comments from the public. We can really tell that you're taking it into consideration. You're really digesting it, and that is very helpful for us to see when I'm missing another bedtime. Every time you see me, I miss a bedtime with my sweet darling angel baby. She's growing up so fast, and I can cry about it. But about this motion, in between motions, Vice Mayor Ringerson mentioned the option for Zoom at a future hearing. I didn't hear that as part of this motion. I don't know if something that can be amended or what the opportunity is for that. We know that county accepts phone call comments and other things. So yes, so thank you. Thank you for listening to everyone. It's very much appreciated, and it makes us feel like our time is very worthwhile.
Thank you.
Good evening, Rudy Rothside. Again, kind of along the lines of what what Ms. Soria just commented. It was really good to see you guys all working together and working through things, and that's what a working commission does. And I really appreciate you all for listening to the public and to take in consideration the idea of showing up to something and either having your ducks in a row or not. It's important in life to have yourself. And yes, it's, we've all been given second chances. We've all been to certain areas where, hey, I'd give you the benefit of the doubt. But we have to take these things seriously as, to me, as what the direction of our community is going. And we need to pay heed to our citizens that show up to these meetings. And I really appreciate the commentary and the different, just the commission working together to come to decisions. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Good evening, and
Good evening.
thank you.
Your name?
My name is Umesh Sharma, and thank you for all the questioning and the discussion. And I am learning, so things were going interesting. So I think I was getting the gist. There was a debate on continuance and deferral, and I'm glad. I think she opted for the third option. Sorry, not motion. I think too many words going on. So third option is dismissal. So I think that can also be considered. I'm not sure what does that mean. And I think I'm hearing June 8 deadline. And June 8, I understand, is also the commission meeting the same day for whatever the factual finding of all this issue means, who is at fault or what happened, or it has been done with what intent, this postings has not been done. So can that deadline be moved up and not only submitted to the commission, but it's made available for the public as well? So that way we don't come here, we read here, printout is not there, or it is not available here, or not posted, some like 14 days before or something like deadline. So that way we all have that information. Or not on the day of decision, everybody's scrambling. I don't know. Means I'm just kind of putting my thoughts out loud. Maybe they are right, maybe they are not, but please give enough time for all. And especially I'm thanking you, Mr. Yumas, for saying that you stand for the public, and of course you all do. But saying it loud matters a lot. So it comforts, you represent us, represent our well-being, represents our happiness and joy in the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess, Mr. Mayor, I guess I got a question for city staff. Is why was June 8th picked when the notice of deferral was sent on, where is it? It's April 22nd. Why was it pushed to the first meeting of June versus the second meeting of May?
Mr. Mayor, there's two reasons. Reason number one is you all have a long agenda in front of you on May 18th with the joint meeting with the county. Reason number two is staff availability.
Thank you, Carson.
How you doing, sir?
Good evening, Mayor Welch, Vice Mayor Ringerson, commissioners, city manager and attorney. A couple of things.
Don't
real
forget
quick.
your name.
Oh, sorry about that. John Havlick, live down here, downtown Alachua. And a couple of things. I'm a big fan of providing grace. I think it's an important part of being human, right? For those of us who are of faith. And so sometimes we can give grace, but then there's also things that maybe don't deserve grace. Sometimes we spare the rod, we spoil the child, right? So to speak. So I think in one sense, and having been in business, or even just someone who drives a car, if I chose to not post my license plate or that little sticker we get in the mail and I get pulled over, they might say, hey, your car's registration, you don't have. So it's kind of out of compliance. I would think that somebody who's going to be taking on a large project would be a highly competent group or individual, and something as simple as posting a sign on the property would not be that difficult to achieve. You know what the basic rule is, I would presume. In fact, I think we could all say that's probably true. But at the same time, something could have happened. So I can maybe understand some grace. My concern would be is that in the future, if there's a the meeting gets changed and it's something that, oh, the city forgot something, then now that's getting an extra get out of jail free card. That I have a problem with. That goes against my grain of right and wrong. I think everyone in this room knows that. I don't have to say that more. So I think moving forward, it's going to be this kind of showing up of people probably won't stop. Now, I would encourage everyone to be calm and polite and respectful to our mayor and to all those staff, to our city manager, who does a very good job, I think. And I think we just need to be a little bit more cautious, though, about the people that are out here, because we put you up there. Mr. Yumas is sitting there now because of that fact. And so every year we have that opportunity to review the leadership. So I just want you to think about that very strongly, because this show is just a small fraction of people who are concerned. Not everyone could come here tonight. And so many of us made the extra effort. I'm glad I can come here. I want to be involved in our city. So I would just caution very much, be careful how you tread, even to our city attorney. And I don't mean to speak, I'm not an attorney myself, but think about that as well, that what is best for the city. And if somebody else, an applicant or something like that, is missing a simple thing, that should be on them. That really should be on them. We wouldn't ask our kids to ask for an excuse when they show up late to school or work.
Thank you. If there be no more, we'll take a vote. I will start with Commissioner Yumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Fletcher.
So just to address some of the points with the public regarding amending this, I don't think at this moment I have enough information to have that discussion or send staff in that direction just yet. I think this is an item that I will probably reach out to the city manager on how we can address that and bring that as an item before the commission as a whole. And so we can have some dedicated time to talk about that. And then if there's more time, we can try and set up a workshop. But I don't think it's prudent at this point to alter the motion to do that at this time. And so I do want to thank my fellow commissioners and the city attorney and Carson for working with us as we work through this on trying to figure out the best decision for the city here. I really appreciate that collaboration. I know there's a little bit of friction at times, but we're all trying to get to the right answer, right? Unity does not mean we are all, the same. It means we're all working towards the same goal. So I appreciate that collaboration on that. And so with that, I'll be voting aye.
Commissioner Brown.
Mr. Mayor, to be clear, could you read your motion?
So I got a bunch of notes here. So let me work on this one. So the motion was, I move that this commission defer the hearing and first reading of ordinance 26-09 to a date certain of June 8th, 2026, and to direct the city manager to inquire the factual basis why the public notice requirements were not met and to present those findings on June 8th, 2026.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Mayor Welch, aye.
Thank you,
We'll
Commissioner.
move to item B.
Mr. Mayor, this item is going to be a similar story to Ordinance 2609. This is Ordinance 26-10, which is the companion application, the rezoning portion. Staff recommends that the City Commission defer the hearing and first reading of Ordinance 26-10 to a date certain of June 8th, 2026.
Mr. Mayor, for city staff, was this deferred or the reason for deferring the same exact reason
Mr. Mayor, that's correct. Sign posting.
So, so do we need to make the same motion? So let's make the same motion on this, and I move that this commission defer the hearing and first reading of ordinance 26-10 to a date certain of, I want to verify this, June 8th, 2026, and to direct the city manager to inquire the factual basis why the public notice requirements were not met and present those findings on June 8th, 2026.
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion.
It's been moved in second. Any public comments on the motion?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner. My name is Tamara Robbins. It seems to be standard operating procedure that when there's a comp plan amendment, they call it the companion ordinance is the rezoning. And so it's always scheduled on the same day. Is there a legal requirement for that? They're two completely separate, different actions, even though it seems like the applicants like to present it like, it's just all one big package that we do, because a comp plan amendment is a comp plan amendment. And then a rezoning is a rezoning. So I just have a question. Do you have to do those on the same date, or could you actually schedule one for one night for a hearing and then the other one for another night, so it wasn't so doubled up and jam-packed where the applicant will be like, well, we don't have to go over everything again. You guys just it all goes together, don't you know? Because I don't think one means that you have to do the other. Unless I'm wrong, I'd like to have an explanation on that. I'd like to understand that a little more. So if someone up there, one of you commissioners, could explain to me that, since you guys vote on that all the time, I would think you would understand it. If not, please get clarification. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Patrice Boyes, I'm your special land use counsel. I really did not intend to speak tonight, but it's a pleasure to meet you and the other new commissioners. I step forward to help Mr. Walker on this one. There is a statute, and I'm not going to remember the subsection. It's in Chapter 163 that if the applicant requests the simultaneous processing and review of a comp plan amendment and a rezoning, you must do that. So you don't have any discretion on that one. Thank you. Any other questions for me now?
Is that,
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, is that municipal code or state statute?
State law. It's in Chapter 163, and I see the text, but I don't. This is not a memory test, I hope, this evening. Thank you.
Is there any more comments? If not, we'll take a vote.
I'll refer back to the reasoning from my last motion to save some time. Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Brown.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Mayor. Say aye.
Thank you, Commission.
Thank you, Carson.
Okay. We move to item 5A.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. Valadares, Mr. Walker, Tara Malone, Human Resources Director. The item before you this evening is the FY 25-26 City of Alachua, Alachua Police Department, North Central Florida Police Benevolent Association Collective Bargaining Agreement. I'm joined here by Sergeant Hunt. He's actually got his PBA hat on because Mr. Corwin could not be with us this evening, so he's the city's representative on the union side. And Mr. Jason Taylor, the Krisner Group, is the lead negotiator on behalf of the city. We'll go through a brief overview. Mr. Taylor, I believe, does have some comments, and then if Sergeant Hunt desires, will he defers. Sorry, maybe too soon. Okay. So real quick, you may recall on October 13th, 2025, the collective bargaining agreement with the Fraternal Order of Police was presented to this commission for approval. At that time, we were made aware that our collective bargaining unit members were making a transition to Police Benevolent Association, or PBA, for representation. We gave you a brief overview of everything leading up to that date. And then since then, October 21st, the voting packets were received by Human Resources. October 22nd, they were distributed to our bargaining unit members. The election period was set to run through November 17th. November 17th, the election results were tabulated by PERC. The petitioner, Police Benevolent Association, prevailed. And then December 31st, we received the final order from PERC certifying exclusive collective bargaining representation to PBA and revoking our prior certification. In January of this year, PBA reached out to give a notice of intent to begin bargaining. Due to availability and scheduling for all of our negotiation team on both sides, our first session was scheduled for March 10th. Subsequent sessions were held on March 26th, April 9th, and then finally April 23rd. You'll notice that, the current agreement proposed agreement would run through September 30th, 2028. Wages, which is Article 26, and up to 2 articles chosen by each party, may be subject to negotiation on an annual basis. This agreement was presented to the bargaining unit members, and voting was held April 28th and 29th. That was just last week. The bargaining unit members voted unanimously, 22-0, to ratify the agreement. Included with the agenda item was the PERC tally of votes, the PERC certification that we received, FY 25-26 APD FOP agreement, because that was what the current or the proposed PBA agreement was derived from. And then the first draft with strike through and underline, the PBA member vote, and then finally the PBA final agreement, which we're proposing. Sergeant Hunt received that, I believe it was Saturday, and brought the signed copies to me today. Like I said, Mr. Taylor is going to say a few words. Recommended action is to ratify the agreement, and we're available if you have any questions.
It is a pleasure to meet all of you and to be here tonight for this purpose, because in part I wanted to certainly commend Tara and Cap Wilson and Brent and the chief and Lisa and all the work that they did to really bring this forward and get it completed. And certainly our city manager was a big help as well. But we spent those 4 sessions really working to try and make sure that the practices that existed that maybe hadn't been codified in the agreement, we now have those as part of the agreement. We've worked to make sure that the changes the PBA would request and that we were agreeable to were part of the agreement. And so ultimately we believe that we've worked on both sides very well and very hard to bring this to you for your approval.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone. So I guess the first question is, when changing these contracts over, I noticed there was a lot of strike-through items on this. My questions, I guess, for city staff is what are the biggest major changes we're looking at in this new contract?
I wouldn't go so far as to say that there was many substantive changes. There were a few minor. Off the top of my head, they had requested to increase the education allowance from 15,000 to 20, I believe it was, but they agreed to maintain that because they understand and recognize that we are starting our budget process going into the new year. Articles were not changed. That would have been, a major fiscal impact. That's why we didn't list any on the agenda item, because it was kind of status quo moving forward. Starting with FY 27, they requested a $200 foot allowance, boot allowance, I think we call it. We currently do 100. That was, again, just to kind of true up a number. I don't know if you're familiar. You can't even get running shoes for $150 now, and the shoes that they're required to have are a couple $100. The education, clothing remain the same. Canine pay. Anything else you can think of?
Certainly when it came down to some of the provisions related to the basic principles that exist under Chapter 447 were worked to incorporate in, and that's where some of the strike-throughs came through. I think also there was an addition of a fair amount of language that related to the grievance procedure as well as the disciplinary process. So it was all meant to try and codify the things that existed in policy and now are part of the agreement.
And just to add on that, Mr. Mayor, the large amount of the underline that he's talking about, I do recall, thank you, Mr. Taylor, it was pulled from SOP with APD as far as fast track resolution when we have inquiries, formal internal affairs inquiries, those types of things in the matrix for discipline. That's all taken directly from SOP.
And then I guess the other question is, you started touching on top of the financial impact. On here, it says there is no financial impact, but that's accounting for the 26-27 year or 27-28. When will there be a fiscal impact?
So again, both sides were very cognizant of our current status as far as what had already been approved. Remember, this contract is kind of mid fiscal year, but it still applies to fiscal year 25, 26. So it's not effective until both parties ratify, but it's covered for everything that had already been approved under the FY 26 budget process. Moving forward, I think actually within the next month or so, we'll probably get notice from them if they want to, wages will be open. They may have a proposal on that. That will be integrated and incorporated into our FY 27 budget process.
Okay, so just to clarify, for the 26-27 fiscal, there may be potential proposed, incurred cost for us down the line. But as of this moment, there's none at the moment.
Correct.
All right, thank you so
And
much.
those would then be presented as part of the budget document as well. We try to have that line up together.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, excuse me.
And Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to say thank you for the staff. I've been seeing you guys working very hard on this, and thank you for the service that you guys do to the community. And hopefully we can continue to support you guys and get you some boots, Thanks.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I guess if there's no other comments from my fellow commissioners, I guess I'll move to ratify the fiscal year 2025-2026 City of Alachua Police Department, North Central Florida Police Benevolent Association Collective Bargaining Agreement. It's a mouthful. Don't write that one down. And authorize and direct the mayor, city manager, and city attorney to execute the agreement.
Second.
It's been moved to second. We have public comments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rudy Rothside, quick, and this meeting's been running long. The idea of community policing is a very big thought, and my interactions with many of our police officers has been nothing but that. Many of our police officers are very they know our community in a lot of ways. A lot of our police officers have been here a lot of years, and they see the bigger picture. And I really just want to show my appreciation to many of the officers that are out there and what they do, putting their life on the lines, and to support them any way we can, whether that's boots, education. I think it's a wonderful thing. But just applauding our police department. They're not perfect, just like me, just like any of you. But I've seen a lot of, I feel, fair decisions and level-headedness in their approach to our community and how they are parts of our community and not a separate force. Thank you.
Thank you. Will there be another comment from the public? If not, we'll take a vote. I will start with Commissioner Fletcher.
Aye.
Commissioner Yumas.
Aye.
Commissioner Shirley Brown.
Aye, and thank you for your service.
Vice Mayor Ringerson.
Aye, 100%. Thank you.
And Mayor Welch. Aye. We really thank you and appreciate you. With that being said, we have city manager and citizen comments. I'm sorry. Not on the agenda. Been a long night.
One final thing, Rudy Rothsiden. I want you to know I noticed Mr. Diedenbach was here for that lengthy discussion that we had. At no point, I saw him leave. I don't know, I can't tell you when he was here, but I saw him leave. He was here in plain clothes, and he was here for that whole discussion. He didn't step up to the microphone. He didn't come up and say, it was my fault. I didn't get there. I had a car incident. I had an accident. He was here for that. He didn't step up and say anything.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? If not, we have comments from our city manager and our city attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Great American Cleanup happened this past Saturday, and for those who supported, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you coming out early in the morning and helping beautify our city. I opened it up saying you could still be sleeping, you'd be at home, but you chose to be the Good Life community, and we did wonderful work. So thank you. Thank you all for who showed up. And this is to our city staff. Not that long ago, we received the Health Initiative Award. Earlier this year, we received the Financial Award. And then today, you heard us receive the Water Award. I would like to highlight city staff and the wonderful work and dedication that you guys do. Thank you and keep up the good work. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
No comment, Mr. Mayor.
There'll be no comments. Comments from our commissioners.
Me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I got a few things to go on this. Regarding the public comments with noise complaints, that is now the second or third time it's come before this commission. I believe us as commissioners, it's time we actually put some commitment behind figuring a solution to that out. And so we will work with the residents to, work with you to help build this Good Life community. But towards the end, there were some concerning comments insinuating possible violence. If it's not addressed, that is unacceptable. So please be patient. But I know the officers of our city will enforce the law fairly, regardless the reason. The second thing on here is the site plan for the Hathcock Center. I don't know what's the appropriate way to get the site plan approved by this commission before being submitted to the Planning and Zoning Board. If that's something I have to bring up at the next meeting, I will, but it's a $3 million plus dollar project for a design firm to take some of our thoughts without us, the commission, the elected body, having the final say on the final design of that, or having the public input on that site design being limited to 3 people. And one of those people was actually me. It was me and 2 other people that showed up to that workshop over in Progress Park. So if that's the case, I believe that item needs to come before this commission and just get our stamp of approval. Maybe the fellow commissioners on here appreciate the design that came up with, they like it. However, what we should do is we should make sure that it has our sign off on it, right? We're elected to represent the people. And so when we're talking about millions of dollars, we should ultimately bear the burden of making that final decision. And again, it's not saying if the design is right or wrong. It's just that we deserve or we have the responsibility to make that decision. Regarding data centers, it is a big thing. If you read the news, and it's not just here, it's out in the Midwest, it's near California, it's in Virginia, and it's down here in our own backyard in Florida. And so there are concerns of bringing it up just with the county. That's only part of the problem. Not only does county have control over preemption and those types of things, but it also deals with us at the city level. So it's one thing to ask the county to solve these problems. It's another thing to make sure that the city and county work together so we ensure that both of our comp plans and our regulations come up with the best possible solution for the residents. And to go on how more important this is recently with the drought that we've been experiencing, Tampa has been experiencing a large amount of sinkholes. I was speaking with a hydrogeologist the other day, and this was something that they're talking about how it's a great thing, right, for people to be finding these things. However, it's bad things because now you have holes in the grounds that are swallow things up, and so that's happening because of the drought, the overconsumption of water, and when we're dealing with impermeable surfaces and recharge zones. So these cavernous regions are not having the water to support them. And if you know how that works, once it's hollow, it just collapses and everything on that drops. So with all that, that's some stuff we need to be thinking about. And so I encourage all of you to attend not only the joint meeting, but the May 19th public workshop for our 2050 plan and comp plan on that, as well as taking the 2050 online survey if you're not able to attend that. Last Friday, I attended the Love It Amp concert. Got to see what was it? Who were they? They were Irish. Clover's Revenge. Got to see them. They were a great band, really engaging. For all those people who do attend Levitt, feel free to scooch in on the main field. I know everybody wants to be out in the back, but it's so much fun when you're up close with that. And the musicians, this is like the third time the musicians have asked for people to come in. So just come on a bit closer. We're all family here, and we can enjoy the music with that. So I should be out there again this Friday. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Just a couple of things. I noticed that there's always a common theme every meeting. It has to do with water. We got to figure this out and keep going round and round and round about the water. We all know it's been a drought. We all know that we got like 10 minutes of rain, the other day. We have to make sure that we are protecting our natural resources and our environment. Again, once it's gone, And again, I was in the Tampa Bay area when someone woke up in a sinkhole. I was there when that happened. And this is something that you don't come back from, you know. So again, we have to make sure that we're doing everything working together, all pieces working together for the city to make sure that the citizens are protected and these things don't happen here in the Good Life community. And the second thing is we got to get away from putting the cart before the horse. It seems to be one of the things that's happening, and we got to take a stop, take a pause, and we need to look at some of these contracts. Someone we may need to abandon, someone we may need to go back to the table and renegotiate, and some we can move forward with. Again, we want the best for the city. We want a steakhouse. We want, nice things to go to nice places, our downtown, all that stuff. But we got to do it right and do it well. Again, it's about being proactive and not reactive. We keep finding ourselves in a reactive state, and we knows what happened when something goes reactive. So let's get smart about it. Let's do it right, and let's make it happen. And because we know that every action is what? Equal and opposite reaction. And that's what we're finding ourselves in now. So we got to stop this. We got to work together, and we got to continue to support each other. We need to support our city employees. We need to support our city manager. We need our lawyer, the commissioners, the mayor, and our citizens. Most importantly, we got to support them. What I see, I'm a man of the spirit. And what I see when people come to that podium and they're pouring their hearts out, I see tears. That's what I see. People crying out for help. And our job as commissioners and as the mayor and as city manager is to make sure that we help dry those tears up. And that's where we need to stand. Thank you.
Commissioner Brown.
It's after 9. No comment.
Vice Mayor.
Okay, I do. My mic is definitely low because I'm loud. Everybody knows that. The noise ordinance. I feel like our workshops are coming up. The data centers. My son, I think I talked about it at I don't remember what meeting, but he brought it to my attention as well. So I do think we continue to research and do a better job of figuring out those things. I am thankful for everybody from the community to come, continuing to talk and listen. I think up here, I speak for all. I believe we all love the city and what we're trying to do, and be part of the community. Not only myself as a citizen, but also as a commissioner. Sometimes that's made feel differently at times. I'm not really sure why, but that's how, for me, myself, just saying that is, I think, the same goal. I think Jacob said it before, the unity or moving forward, I think is where we're all trying to get to. And so I want to agree on that as far as our community and the people that are here in our community. I am very proud of the city of Alachua and the team and the people that work here and doing their job all the time diligently. Nobody is perfect except for our police department, in my opinion. But I'm just going to say, Chief, continue to keep us safe. There are a couple other items that I want to just remind again, the joint meeting on the 18th. The other thing that I would like to add on here is the mental health month. I think some things we all talk about and then it doesn't show its face. Okay. So mental health does not have a face. So the only thing that I always encourage every time this comes up in May is always ask the question, are you okay? But pause for that moment to make sure your friend, your coworker, family member are okay. So many of us ask the question, are you okay? And then we just start talking about how's your kid. You don't give the person the opportunity to talk. There are people that need somebody to talk to. So for me, I advocate for that myself. I don't know what my fellow commissioners do, but when I leave this meeting, I can't sleep for 3 hours. So it doesn't matter if it's a great meeting or a long meeting. I process and think about these things over and over again. And I think in myself, I'm a very, I'm a crybaby. Let's just put it that way. I'm a crybaby. So for me, it's something I struggle with myself internally in my family, my work, and even in this job, to please always ask anybody and just listen to their response. I think it's very important. It's Teacher Appreciation Week this week. So if you have kids that are in school or preschools or anything like that, shout out to your teachers, to anybody that works with children. It's a big job. It's a hard job. With that said, I also love the idea of the hippie idea. I also think there's more that we need to know. I do firmly still believe our children that are birth to 5 are most crucial to get them to where they can hear languages and talking and talking and talking. One of the things that hit me with the hippie is it's still one-on-one. They need to be in a setting where they can hear tons of different languages, experience tons of different skills, problem solving, critical thinking, sharing, hugging, all of it. So for me, that's my soapbox on that part of it. I do want to say the concert series, the last one is again this Friday. I think the farmers markets have been fantastic. I enjoy those very much. The last thing that I'm going to add is if you're not a Star Wars geek, may the 4th be with you. And that's, oh, I'm sorry, Miss Shirley is correct. The school board meeting, we attended the workshop. Some of us attended the workshop. We did get some things moved off for them for voting. That is tomorrow at 6. There are only 2 things on the agenda for them to vote for. I think we all know where we want to be on as far as that is concerned. But if you're able to attend the school board meeting tomorrow, it's at 6 o'clock. And that is it, Mayor, for me.
Mr. Mayor, maybe were my fellow commissioners thinking of the 4-4-4 model or the entire split on their stance on this?
I would like, for me, my stance is the K through 4 and the 5 through 8.
Okay, that's where I was heading at too, because it prevents us having to worry about which areas of the community, and then it still fits them into, and then Mebane still retains space, and renovations can focus, the capital funding can focus on renovating Mebane itself versus building a new facility in that area. So
yes, I also would like to add, I did mention it in the hippie, but I do feel they don't have a restriction for Head Start or VPK like they do if you're zoned. You have for Irby, you go to Irby. I think that's something we as a unit should look at or talk about in the workshop or strategic planning meeting.
Thank you all. And thank all of you citizens for coming. It came. And I'd like to thank the police department and cleanup crew. We did a tremendous job. I love it. And if I seem like I may offend you all, my point is this. I like for us to do things in decent and in order, and we want to represent the good life community city or community. And my motto is we are better together. Divided, we fall. So let us try to be together and collaborate together and let's do it in a good manner and respectful way. And on that, who gonna motion to adjourn?
Mo- I'll motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.